Back, everybody. Welcome back to Phil's Recap and Review. Jessica Jones, Season 2, Episodes 11, 12, and 13. The season finale, the recap and review. The episodes are called, a.k.a. 3 Lives and Counting. Episode 12, a.k.a. Pray for My Patsy. And Episode 13, a.k.a. Playland, the death of Dr. Frankenweenie. No. So we're back here to talk about the end of Jessica Jones Season 2. We're here a little bit earlier than normally just to kind of get things done. And Joe worked last night, so I wanted to get him up on air before he starts passing out for the day. But Jessica Jones Season 2 ended. I have some very specific feelings about the way the season ended, but I do want to say one thing right off the bat about what we were talking about leading into this episode. Usually it goes Joe's right or I'm right. This was a rare occasion where both of us and our predictions were kind of right in different ways. We were wrong about certain things, but right about other things. Joe predicted the end of this season that it would be Patsy that killed the mother. I believe that's what you said last week or last episode. And I talked a little bit about the David Tennant situation where I think Joe was a little less excited about the potential of the Purple Man coming back in. Just to get it off the bat, that wasn't my favorite episode of the season, but I'm glad it happened, and I can understand why some people are like, oh, maybe they needed to get that guy back in the season, so it was a little bit, like shoving it in. But I personally enjoyed it because I was right. Because it's exactly what I wanted it to be. I wanted it to feel a lot like Arkham Knight, where Bruce is constantly haunted by the memory of having to come to the point of killing the Joker finally, and he can kind of see him everywhere. That voice is inside him forever. In this
episode, what it's worth, this is what his thing was. That's what his thing was in your head. Right. So it's like...
That's what this was, too.
It's for her PTSD.
Right. I was just about to say that. I bet you didn't hate this as much as you thought you would, because basically he just worked as the voice of her conscience. Like, everything he was saying, he wasn't him. He was her. Everything, it was that voice in her mind that he just symbolizes that. The feeling of just letting go, saying, fuck it, saying, use this power for your own needs and when you get backed into a corner. But also, I just have to say, for the whole season of Jessica Jones from beginning to end, and some people might feel differently, this may not be my highest high for one of these Netflix series, but this might be the most consistent season of them all. Because I never felt in the back half of episodes like I did in Daredevil Season 1, like I felt in Jessica Jones Season 1, like I felt in parts of Luke Cage, and Defenders, and that other show we're not going to talk about. I feel like this season had the best flow. I feel like the peak was right in that last episode with everything that happened, and I just think it melted into each other perfectly. But I'm not alone. I have with me Joe Dirty Locks and, of course, the live motherfucking chat. If this is your first time joining us for one of these Jessica Jones reviews, please go back and watch all of our recaps. We've done 4 other ones. This will be our 5th one for the premiere and then for the 3 episode blocks. And if you want to share your thoughts, you can call in and leave a voicemail at 781-990-8509. We also have a call-in line for a little while here at 657-383-1465. You can email me at igotissuesman@gmail.com. We got a couple questions, couple comments. We're going to go through these 2 episodes and share our thoughts and get some of your thoughts on this final season. Joe, what are your kind of just general thoughts on the way this season ended up?
So I don't know if it was because of that Kilgrave. I'm getting echo. Just so you know.
Oh, you're getting echo?
Yeah. But, wow, it's so weird. Maybe it was because of the Kilgrave episode, but having to, I'm not big on hallucination-y, dreamy shit. But it fit with the PTSD, so I get over it, right? But it puts me in a weird place because I don't particularly love the episode, and that doesn't help it. And then the following episodes and how it, like, the decisions that Jessica makes from that point on and how it winds down through the finale, I kind of felt either ambivalent or I just didn't feel like... I didn't feel satisfied, really.
No, fair enough. Fair enough. And are you still hearing yourself?
Didn't have this big superhero feeling. There was no big battle, nothing like that. And so, you watch a superhero thing and you go into it expecting that. And this ends with some fucking crazy chick taking a pop shot, right? One shot, one kill. Like, and you know, the single bullet does it. And I know she wasn't fighting anymore at this point or anything, but you don't expect this from a superhero thing. And that goes to the fact that this is a detective thing. This is a detective drama in the vein of a Chinatown or a, you know, where it's also personal about family kind of, or something like that. I don't know.
And I agree with you in concept, Joe, but I think I liked that it didn't feel that way. I think I liked that it surprised me in a way that I wasn't exactly expecting, and that the end of it wasn't some big to-do. It just ended quietly and in a way perfectly to me, you know, in just that small way to show exactly what you're saying, that it's not the kind of show you think it is, or not you think it is, but it's not the kind of show that it's not a normal superhero story. It is a more wound down kind of dark detective story.
Like, think about all the superpowers that we see in this.
Do you still hear yourself, Joe?
No.
Okay, good.
So all the superpowers that we do see in this whole thing, right? There is no. It's understated.
Yep.
There's no big super fight really, besides them two tussling or whatever, and she kicks Jessica's ass pretty quickly in those few times. So like all the superpower things we see, they're not superpowers against superpowers really, so much as it's like, I'm really strong and I crush you. Oh, like, so it's a very understated superpower show.
And I agree. No, I definitely hear what you're saying. It's more of a smaller story, a personal story. Right. This season's very personal, and I also think this season, and this is where I love it, I guess, and maybe it's just a show for, like not a show for me. Like, no one else can like this show. It's just me. But I like how everything kind of fit. It was a perfect circle. No pun intended. Where it started off the beginning of the season, you see Jessica just a fucking mess from everything that happened. Having sex with some fucking random piece of shit dude in a bathroom. Just like feeling as low about herself as she possibly can, and all this sort of shit. So, and to turn this all around through the course of events of this personal story, that's her accepting who she is, accepting that she will kill if necessary, and understands that about her, but she knows right from wrong, at least in her mind. At least this is what I took from it. Everyone can take something different.
She didn't go there to kill the guard, right?
No,
she went there to go do a little bit of poking around, a little breaking and entering, but not necessarily burglaring.
But if someone's going to try to kill her and he's a sick fuck that murders people, she has no qualm. He's going
to murder her.
Exactly.
He's going to murder her in the situation. There's not going to be any cuffs on, send her to jail. He's going to kill her, and he knows how to get rid of bodies, most likely. He'll get rid of hers. They'll do something, you know, or he doesn't even have to. She's in my fucking house. I'm her mother's prison guard. She came here to try to kill me.
Yep. And to go into the live motherfucking chat for a second, Mike says PCP and PSA. No, I missed that. I missed that comment, Mike, but I knew it was funny. I lost it there. Wait, Jessica Drew, this isn't Nancy Drew Book Club. K-Rich says, no big bad, but big storytelling. Made me happy, but we may have hacked off action viewers. And I agree with that, K-Rich. Some of the people that are there for some of the Daredevil people that have come through that are hoping to see a similar level of, you know, action all the time. Probably this, and this isn't a I'm better than the people. Some people this show isn't going to be for. And just like every other show, you know, there's certain people it's very rare that you have a show that's just universally appealing, or music that's universally appealing. The only thing I can think about is Bob Marley. You know, like there's not many people that say shitty.
Next season though to be highly action packed and power packed and filled.
I agree. I think this was getting all that shit over with. They can't have Jessica move forward unless they get her through this shit. And it legitimately took, not felt padded out to me anyways at all. It took 13 episodes. And this is, again, the first one that felt like it needed to be 13 episodes. A lot of those other seasons felt like they could have wrapped up in 11 or something. I feel like this felt like it needed to be those 13 episodes.
This wasn't just a Jessica Jones season, though, is it?
No, it's a Trish story or a Hellcat story.
Will she now get a Hellcat series, or will she just be a constant interaction in the Jessica Jones
number 2?
Show? I
think, or even more so, that she'll be a constant annoyance in all of the series. Like, you're going to see Trish pop up in Daredevil Season 3. You're going to see this is just my speculation. You're going to see Hellcat pop up. I'm not saying in everyone, but when you least expect it kind of thing, to fuck things up. I don't know if that's how they're going to go with Trish, but if they're going off this as Trish's origin story, because you're right, Joe. It's not just the Jessica Jones getting through shit. It's Malcolm to a smaller extent, but really it's Jessica and Trish's story. It's Trish's origin story as a super villain or a superhero, whatever you want to look at it, or not look at it in such concrete terms, as someone that's going to be gray, a real vigilante of some sort. But you can also look at this season again as Jessica's arc of getting to the place where she feels comfortable enough in her own skin to do the things she needs to do, to feel comfortable being super, to feel comfortable sometimes going over that line. She's not fucking Batman. She doesn't have a fucking code. Her only code is, I'm not going to drive in a car. She's not Luke Cage either. That I won't kill. I won't hurt people.
Yeah, she's not bulletproof. She's just really strong. So
she can be hurt. And in some cases, she needs to... Her mother, Joe said this earlier in passing, but her mother, a fucking 5 times more powerful than she is. I don't know, I'm just 3 times, whatever. More powerful than she is, dies from a single gunshot wound on a moving merry-go-round. Headshot,
and she already had a wound in the leg.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that this is unrealistic. I'm saying that's how easy it is to take out one of these superpowered Joneses. Yeah, one of these Joneses. So Jessica.
But that being said, it's kind of weird that, like, you know, they can. How are you able to, like, fall from a building, the height of a building, right? And that doesn't break your bones or any of this shit, but, like, someone hits you with a baton in the fucking arm or something, that hurts.
That's true.
Like, that hurts her sometimes, you know, like. She punched a wall and her skin and hand was all messed up, but, like.
Oh, and I found Mike's comment. PCP and PTSD. That's good eating. Remember, Joe, Jessica is not a superhero, says Broke in the live chat.
No, she's just a super.
She's a super. Yeah, she's a metahuman. Morning Phil and Joe, watching with my morning coffee at my desk. Great to keep you company at work today. Job, says Mike. What do you need that for? You're missing TV and naps. That's key. And that's life, motherfucker. And somehow my chat's not loading correct on my computer screen, so I'll be looking at the other one. Realism. She slips into the bathtub and dies. Final spoiler of the season. Sorry, Mike is breaking this down, but I like her mother's arc too that you got in this season. Her mother wasn't my favorite aspect of this season, but she won me over by the end of the series. No way!
Like, I'm confused as all hell by everything that took place in episode 12.
The second to last episode.
12 and 13.
12 and 13. Yeah, 12 and 13 have a lot of back and forths. What I mean with
what the fuck?
What I mean with the mother arc is, there's certain scenes and certain interactions I really like. The performance won me over a little bit. I agree that it gets a little confusing with switching sides, back and forth stuff, and we'll break this all down when we get into the recap of the episode. But I agree. It's Jessica turns her over, then finds the guard, kills the guard, goes to see her, but then has another change of heart after her mother beats the shit out of her and they save some people on the side of the road. So she says, oh, maybe I can get my mother to be good. But to me, all that happened was Jessica got emotional, but she never knew she wasn't eventually going to have to stop her. But I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe when they were on that Ferris wheel, she was accepting her mother for who they were and going to go into a dark direction.
Every time the mother opens her mouth and puts forward the argument of let's go be powers together and all this shit, I keep saying to myself, again, she doesn't care about you, Jess. This is a woman whose only concern is herself.
At times,
because if she cared about you, she wouldn't force you to make the decision to kill her or turn you in.
Dude, there was a couple of lines on the mother, and I'm not sure even I have them tagged, but there was just a couple of moments here and there through the few episodes that you just see. I am so on board with you. Every situation, and especially when we got into the new guard showing up, and seeing how much of a manipulator she is.
Yep.
She manipulates her from go, and she's doing the same thing with Jessica. It is sadistic the way she comes in, the way she tells her once she does kill the guard. And Jay's right; he says in the chat that killing the guard was by accident. She didn't intentionally do that, which is basically
what?
No, I don't think she intended to kill the guard.
Oh, Jessica.
Jessica. The Jessica,
Yes,
I'm
no.
not talking about. I think in Jessica's case, killing the guard was a automatic response when her life was in danger. She didn't go there with the intention to kill you. You're right, Jay. I just think Jessica comes to a point where she's accepting that sometimes people in her world and her thoughts need to just die. And if they're really evil, and she knows what's right and wrong, and she can make be the decider about that. I think.
Well, this was mostly self-preservation after the fact. She accidentally kills him, and she says, "Well, he was going to kill me, but it doesn't matter. I'm on probation, and I broke into this guy's house, and now he's dead.
Gotta hide.
So
gotta hide.
I'm a superpower guy, and he's my mother's primary prison guard. So yeah, I'm going to jail forever for this. And this really wasn't my intent, or didn't really mean to kill him. He just has a weak head. Apparently, I hit him a little too strong in the heat. So she stages the suicide. I'm not sure I have a big problem with that.
No,
this guy was a piece of shit.
I don't either.
To begin with.
And
so I think that's how she ends up deciding, like,
and rationalizing it. And
shit, I didn't mean to do it, and whatever.
Which is
if
why
I get caught eventually, I get caught eventually.
And she ends up having the vision of the Purple Man in that situation to kind of deal with it and deal with her bad
through it.
Right, the bad Jiminy Cricket on her shoulder. But actually, I'll be here when you need me, to remind you of how fucked up people can be and how sometimes you gotta kill, and it's all right. Happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone. Jessica Jones has superhuman strength and endurance, but can still get shot in the head. Unlike Luke Cage, who has extremely dense skin, which renders him highly resistant to physical injury, unless you have the Judas bullets. I forgot about the Judas bullets. And yes, Jay says killing the guard was an accident. She had to die. Oh, she could have stopped without killing him, or was an accident. She didn't have to. She could have stopped him without killing him in this situation. I think the difference is when she jumps, she is prepared for it, and when she gets hit, she isn't always prepared for it. Talking about the gun situation, and my sidekick, Rich Blackman, is evil ego. Brooke Blackman's evil ego, Rich Blackman.
But the mother's manipulating Jessica right from go.
Right.
You see it with the switch of that guard. After the guard dies and you get the new one, she manipulates that woman right from go.
And Joe, it's what I was gonna say a second ago before I went on the chat rant, that ultimately it's one of those things that you reward someone when they do something you want them to do. So she was trying the manipulation tactic where when Jessica comes and starts telling her about, or when she connects that Jessica did that to the guard, killed the guard, she starts, I love you. She starts giving her more affection in those moments and being more, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of the choices you've made, that you've made these choices to kill. And
affirmations.
Yeah, exactly. It's such a...
It's like when she's dealing with Trisha's mom.
Yep.
Like, aren't they so horrible at that age? Oh, I feel you, mother.
Yep, it's such an amazing fucking tactic.
So mother gives in the past, their mother gives her all the information she needed when she was, a couple episodes ago. She's 100% manipulation from go, and it's, I don't know.
Yeah. So let's get into this right now. Let's get into this episode recap. Episode 11, which is called, again, 3 Lives and Counting. Jessica Jones does not want to be a murderer. Again, I'm using the Vulture articles for notes because it allowed me to watch the episodes a little bit more clearly and actually watch what's going on and not be looking down. So anytime anyone wants to write a recap for one of these recaps for me, just send it to me and I'll read it. I'll be like Ron Burgundy and I'll just read whatever you write. I won't be able to stop. So Phil the Issues Guy really, really sucks. He's horrible and smells like poop. Oh, hey, Vulture article. You must know I'm reading it now. So Jessica Jones does not want to be a murderer, yet there she is standing over the body of a man she just blunt force traumatized to death. All kinds of thoughts are bouncing around inside her skull, fears about the mother-daughter cellmates and how she should make it look like an accident. Then cutting through all that clutter comes one voice saying, make it look like a suicide. Which Jess does swiftly, convincingly. She lays out the evidence that Dale killed all those prisoners before, typing in all caps suicide note, the last life I have to take is my own. Were you surprised at all how quickly she snapped into action and knew how to hide this? But personally, no, because she's a detective, she would know how to hide this situation. And I think you already said this earlier. She's under probation, so she had to do this. This is protection, self-preservation kicking in.
Right. It's either do what she did or wipe everything down as best she can. Look for any kind of surveillance camera equipment in the house. That I don't know if she did that or if there was any, and then make sure, you know, and then just leave everything the way it was and leave it unsolved, or wrap it up nicely the way she did.
Yep.
Or just go chuck the body in the ocean like other bodies.
And before we go a little further into the recap, just so we don't get away from whatever his point was, we got Jay on the line right now. Let's see if I can tap him in here to share his thoughts on whatever the fuck we're talking about. Jay, I think you're on the air.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, buddy. How's it going?
Hello?
Yep.
Pretty good. So, all right, I just want to take you guys into what would happen if next season we go into a season and Jessica Jones is still not talking to anyone. You know what happens the whole season? Absolutely not a fucking thing. Jessica is never a catalyst to a damn thing. Trish was the catalyst to this whole season storyline, and last season, Kilgrave was the catalyst to the whole season storyline. So we'd be watching Jessica drinking and going out taking pictures of cheating husbands and wives for 10 episodes, and that would be it, or 13 episodes. That would be the most fucking boring show ever, which is why they have to do something with that Jessica and Trish relationship. I'm also not sure if that ever is going to be repaired, or like Trish killing the mom was like a thing that just broke it forever. But Jessica is the stupid one here. Like, seriously, y'all are criticizing Trish. Jessica is the one who wanted to take her fugitive, psycho-murdering mom over to Canada so she can start a killing streak over in Canada, and then probably go to another country and to another country and start, like, basically have a psychopathic murderer or whatever just be traveling around the world just to find new victims. Jessica is the stupid one in this situation here, way more than Trish is. And if you really think about it, Trish was right. Jessica was being stupid. And if anyone gets to call Jess out on her shit, it's Trish. Because Jessica has no one else in her whole life that can call her out on her shit. She doesn't talk to Luke Cage anymore. She just met the dude, the super from down the hall. That dude doesn't really have the right to give her shit about it. But as much as Trish screws up, they both are kind of screw-ups. They're both like the screw-ups of each other's life in one way or another.
Good.
Okay,
Sorry, I ended up losing you there, Jay, but excellent point. And Joe, do you have a
can't
response?
disagree with any of the stuff about, you know, Jessica being an idiot for, like, let's take my psychotic mom to a new country to kill a whole bunch of fucking people in. But as far as Trish goes, no, she's still a fucking moron right from go. She's still a douchebag right from go, and she's so much a fucking douchebag, and so much needs to prove some sort of weird fucking shit that she purposely withhold the information from the police so she can personally go shoot that woman.
Right. So, I mean, whether I want to say that maybe Jay is right that she was making the correct decision in that moment, she should have brought the cops there and not had to be the one to stop her. That's Trish's ego. But Jay is not completely incorrect in his points. And Jess, to take the second one first, that Jessica isn't always right in the Trish-Jessica situation, at least not in my mind. I think a lot of the times in this season, the problem with Trish, it's the Big Lebowski thing again. Just because you're right, Walter, doesn't mean you're not an asshole. Trish can be right, but she's still making poor decisions with that correct information.
But she hasn't been right at all, period.
I think
everything she's done has been to push and pry and to claw her own personal agenda forward. Fair. It has nothing to do with her sister, friend, Jessica.
But where I do agree with Jay is I think Jessica's being emotional and not looking at this situation rationally, where she should be turning her mother in, not running off to Canada. She cannot control her mother. There's no way.
I agree.
There's no way.
She already turned her in once, and she should have stayed that course.
Stayed to that course.
And the moment she says, "Fine, we're going together," like, I was like, "What? That's stupid." And then when they ended up in the diner, and I was like, "Oh, okay, cool. Oh, yep, she's noticing that this dude was followed. Okay, she could turn this easily into, yes, it's a good idea. Let's turn my mother in. I didn't want to, like,
And
now this guy is involved somehow. Let's get us both out of this easily.
into Jay's first point about Jessica Jones needing a catalyst, I agree with you there too. I think the first season it is Kilgraven, and this season it's Trish, and it battles her. And I think what makes her a good character is the fact of how she relates to other people fucking with her shit. If you're right, if she was alone and going through things and didn't have to deal with other people, she'd be fine. It would just be her breaking cases and killing cases over and over again. It'll be something else that comes into her life and fucks with her again. Maybe it might be Trish. I think Trish will be an ongoing issue throughout the series, and I agree with you as well that I don't see their relationship being repaired so easily.
Yeah, me either.
I don't think it's just it's not just even the mom, it's the betrayal. It's the whole situation that Jessica, because of everything she's been through in her life, has abandonment issues and dealt with a lot of fucking crap. And I'm not saying that absolves her of some of the fucked up shit Jessica Jones has done in her life. I'm just saying she has gone through a lot of that, and it's tough for her to trust. And Trish is now off the list, and maybe this guy Oscar's, she's going to try to relate to him. And personally, I think Oscar's dead very soon into the beginning of a next Jessica Jones season. I don't think this is I don't think dead, or just the relationship's DOA. It's not like a long-term situation. So let's get back into this episode as we hear the slow clap coming from this vivid hallucination of in a purple glow. I mean, Big League Chew grape purple glow of, and this was the visual that was in the trailer that I was referring to last time, and it's her on the roof somewhere, and it wasn't awesome to. I mean, it was great to see David Tennant, and I think another part of this, Joe, that I think. This is my speculation, or I'm projecting onto you here. So maybe it's not the case. I think you like this more than the average dream sequence thingy too, because it was actually done pretty well. And David,
it wasn't a dream sequence either. It was in reality. It was based in reality, and it was more of a thought process given an avatar.
Yeah, and I've mentioned it a couple of times, one in the trailer lead up and one earlier today. But did you play the third Arkham game, Joe, by chance? I don't know. I know you played the first two. Okay, in the third game, spoiler alert for the Arkham series, at the end of one of the games, the Bruce has to eventually kill the Joker. There's no going around it. And in the third game, the Joker does appear, but he appears almost not exactly the same way, but very similar to the way that Kilgrave appears in this. Just Bruce is climbing up a tower and gets to the roof, and suddenly the Joker's face is there to go, Bruce, why don't you kill them all? In Mark Hamill's voice. That's a horrible Joker, but imagine in Mark Hamill's voice. And it just works out in a very psychological way. It's different in a video game. It can get annoying sometimes, especially when you have to repeat sections. But it's used in a similar fashion to reflect and almost echo Jessica's thoughts. And then throughout this episode, it works as, I often say, Joe is my evil Jiminy Cricket on my shoulder, and I hear him in certain situations in life. Just tell him to fuck off. But Joe's voice is, tell him to fuck off, tell him to fuck off. And I have Nick on my other shoulder, rip him off. But Kilgrave, in this way, is her conscience and leading her down different directions. And David Tennant gives what could have been a mail-it-in performance, and some people might feel different, but this was awesome. The two of them together are great. It's a shame the character's dead, because they can't keep doing this. They can't keep putting him in over and over again. This was a good goodbye to him. And I know they left it in there a little bit to be, oh, I might be back again, but maybe for a flash here and there, but I don't see anything getting this much of David Tennant in this part ever again. And it was a good sort of curtain call for him. He got to be very, very Purple Man-y. So she's fighting her nature. She's fighting herself. Why not just give in? Jessica goes home to drink some booze and eat breakfast, and then she takes off all her clothes, and she keeps her and throws it out, but keeps the leather jacket. Now, Alyssa's thrilled to wake up to a warm, reasonable guard. She calls the guard, and she manipulates the guard, Marilyn, who is like, can you call Jessica for me? Of course. You never stop being a mom. Did you think the minute we met this guard that she's going to be dead soon? I definitely. Joe, did you think the guard was a dead woman walking? Oh, weird. I don't know if anyone can not hear Joe, but I can.
Oh, what's wrong with you, poor homicidal murderer killer? Oh, let me help you out. Oh, no, just like, is it okay if I go make a phone call before I eat my breakfast? Absolutely not. You will get 0 favors from me. Just eat your breakfast. You'll get phone call at phone call time. Like, you don't start that relationship by saying yes to everything this prisoner asks you to do. Like, no, you hold on to that. At least give it a week or 2 before you grant any kind of favor. You do have to set some sort of fucking tone. These are the rules, because you let this person, any person, do stuff that they're not supposed to do over and over again. When you finally do have to set a rule or a boundary, it's not going to go nice.
SM in the chat says Kilgrave was the best part of the show, and he was a memory, and he was better than every character in the show. He should have killed Jessica Jones, and the show should have turned into the Kilgrave show. Broke says, yeah, I would not see Jessica fighting off the cops to save her mom at this point. She didn't even fight off the 2 police officers when they were in Trish's hospital room. And K-Rich says, Jessica wants to be unknown, wants to be nothing, needs no recognition, and has no power. She wishes she didn't. Yeah, and wishes she didn't have any power at all. I agree with that. If Jessica could take away her powers at any time, she probably would. If she could go the Rogue and X-Men 3 thing and take the cure or something, I think she probably would.
What's the fantasy in Jessica's mind? Like, okay, yeah, sure, I don't want any police I don't want you to kill anybody else. So to save the police's life, we have to escape instead of calling, because that's just going to get you mad. But one day you'll get mad at some taxi driver again and maybe break his arm, or a store clerk, or an argument with someone somewhere that I'm not there for, and you kill some innocent people. And then what? And then what? We have to fight together against police that are trying to stop you. Then we're both killing, police officers as well that are just trying to, protect the public.
Yeah, oh. Joe, you don't need to go much further in this episode than later with Marilyn. We see Marilyn, who thinks she has a rapport with this woman, set up, moving her body so she can watch the documentary about the Mariana Trench, letting her make phone calls, being real polite to her. So she thinks she feels comfortable enough with her that when she sees her having a breakdown, and this is on Marilyn too, she just walks in. She just walks in there with no backup, no guards, not stunning her first. Just, hey, what's up? Will you calm down? And ends up getting killed because of it, because of that situation exactly. Alyssa wouldn't want to kill Marilyn reasonably. She probably doesn't feel bad for it because she doesn't feel bad, but ultimately that isn't a decision she wanted to make. She appreciated the guard. What a difference a guard makes. I could deal with this. If she never finds out about what's his name, about Curl, she probably would have been content staying in this prison with a guard like Marilyn that allowed her to watch TV and relax. And Jessica.
And then they have this conversation on the phone.
Oh, God.
Those clicks mean that somebody's listening. Did you go out last night?
Did you see?
Yes, I went out last night. Did you see somebody? Yes, I took care of it. Did you clean up afterwards? Did you make sure? Oh, Dale wasn't here today.
Joe.
Are you fucking kidding me? That is circumstantially the most circumstantially guilty. Like, even it's gonna get admitted into court. Right? It just will. And no jury is going to hear that and not be like, oh, yeah, this chick didn't kill him.
Oh, but they set up a suicide. Oh, it's definitely a suicide.
Are you kidding me? Like,
no, Joe.
You're being recorded.
Have you ever seen The Wire? I'm pretty sure that they know how to zip through codes. Anyone that's listening to things.
Maybe that's why she didn't want to turn in the mother, because the mother now knows that she killed Dale, and if she gets turned in, she'll just rat Jessica out. Jessica will go to jail too.
It's not like the mother cares that much. She's Kilgrave isn't going anywhere, not as Jess tries to wash that murder right out of her hair. I'm proud of you, he murmurs into her ear as she's in the shower. It's creepy. Whatever. again, I'm not going to bemuse the point over and over again. David Tennant's awesome. The way that the characters played in this episode is done extremely well, almost at times like a horror movie, at times over the top with multiple Tennants showing up, multiple memories and multiple voices. It reminded me a lot of when your own mind's going crazy and you just hear voices and hear thoughts. It was visualized, but it's a TV show, so they wanted to visualize it. But it's all going on in Jessica's head, and she knows it. She's not convinced this is real. There's a wonderful, funny line at one point where she goes, "Fuck, dude, I'm trading like barbs with a fucking hallucination," or something like that. Like, she knows it's all in her head. She doesn't give a fuck.
But it's good too, because again, this was the manifestation of Kilgrave's powers and shit too, right?
Yeah, and
so it fit for that character as well as this PTSD.
That voice when he comes in at one point, some of the stuff he says, I'd say 70% or 60% of what he's doing, this is where I do fuzzy hippie math again, is played for comedy at times in this episode, but there's a couple of really scary, horrifying kind of lines that come in. "I'm gonna be with you forever," I'm inside you forever, like shit like that. That it's just a creepy moment when she's in the shower, or he passes by her. But then there's just hilarious stuff with like, hey, I want you cray. Trish has been acting kind of cray lately. It just, or just being that voice, just kill him, talking shit right there. Great stuff. Used really well, made you feel intense, lulled you into a sense of comedy at times. Anyways, so she tries to return herself to that method of calming herself by reciting the names in the streets. He does too. "I'll be in your dreams too. Go to sleep. I'll be there as well." So then we go to the motel where we last saw Trish being a complete and utter psycho. Carl is gone, but Kilgrave is there. Hallucinations. Kilgrave is like this is what the writer says, soulless Jiminy Cricket. Jess should have offed Carl when she had the chance. Jess visits her mom. We see nice Marilyn lets her have some alone time with Jess. What the fuck? I'm sorry, I'm not going to repeat basically what Joe said a few seconds ago, but you let her have alone time with her daughter when she just said, "Don't worry, I'll be on camera the whole time. I hope you're Mike in that room too." Like, what the flying fuck?
Right, exactly. And then there's this scene. She comes in to visit and like, "Can you leave us alone in the room?" Not protocol, but sure, no problem, sweetheart. Just for you.
Tim wants
like,
me to...
Are you kidding me? Like, she has said no to this woman 0 times. She'll never be able to say no without pissing her off at or without it being a thing between them.
Yep. And
she should have just kept it, follow the rules, and we'll all get along.
Tim,
like, don't follow the rules. Like, there are certain things that you can do. They pay me to tell you, no, you can't do these other things. You want to use the phone now? Sorry, my boss has said, no, you can't do that. I understand you want to, but you can't. We could sit here all day until you finish, or it's time for me to return the tray, and then at phone time, you can go use the phone. But until then, you might as well just eat your breakfast, sweetheart, because we ain't leaving the cage. Eat your fucking shit.
Yeah.
No, we can't leave the room.
No.
Special protocol says we need to stay here because you, unfortunately, have been classified a psychotic fucking individual, and I can't leave you alone with a citizen, albeit your daughter, but unattended.
But no, Joe, that other dude that we met earlier, or is it a different show that I'm thinking about? No, that other dude we met's in the Hannibal Lecter cage. The dude from that
killed one person.
That killed one person is in a Hannibal Lecter cage. But you have her letting this person with superpowers that you're letting stay in a normal prison because she's supposedly going to be calm and play by the rules. You're letting her have alone time with her super daughter.
The guy that didn't kill one person,
right, is in the Hannibal Lecter cage, and everything's brought to him. And I know he's a little bit more outwardly unstable, but still, come on, Alyssa should be like strapped down at all times if she's gonna stay in this prison, or at least never allowed to manipulate a guard this easily. But it gives us one of the most hilarious Alyssa scenes where she's just like, she is snarling in there and talking about Trish, that she's the one that took Carl in her pseudo noble bullshit. I want to take her head. I'm gonna find her and crush her fucking head. It's really fucking funny stuff, and this is it's hilarious. She's literally growling, and Jess is like, I'll calm you down. Just immediately manipulated and stuck into shape. Jessica does not want to lose her mom. She likes having this setup, being able to come and see her and stuff. But Jess can also tell that her mom might have somewhat of a point, because Kilgrave is, being her conscience, is saying that Trish has been a little crazy lately as he bursts into song. He's waiting for Jess back at Alias Investigations 2, feet kicked up in the desk, telling Jess that murder is in her DNA, when Jess opens her laptop to start to figure out that Malcolm and Trish fucked her over. And she's looking at Carl's photo, and then Kilgrave says to her, "You just invite betrayal, don't you?" And Jessica breaks into Malcolm's apartment, but he's not there, and spots Trish's sunglasses and basically starts figuring out what exactly happened. Now, Jessica starts using Malcolm's Tinder profile, or his Bumble, or what was it called? I forget.
Same thing.
Yes, same fucking shit.
Grinder.
Yeah, Grinder. Or plenty of supers, or Plenty of Fish, or something. What was it called? Oh, it doesn't matter. So, and to triangulate his location, we get another moment of something Joe's been pointing out a lot this season, and I fucking love it. Actually getting to see Jessica be a detective and do detective shit and make it interesting. And I hope this is completely has nothing to do with anything, or it does, that I feel like in Batman, who's supposed to be the world's greatest detective, in every Batman media that we've had, they focus so much on his fighting skills, not enough on his detective skills. I wouldn't want to see it all be about Batman's detective skills, but I hope if they ever do another great Batman movie sometime, they use some of the elements that show Jessica Jones being a detective in a Batman movie as well, to show Batman doing similar things, because it really... This was one of the best, this series, this season 2 of showing Jessica do detective shit was some of the best in not a supernatural way, because I've seen in Sherlock Holmes type stuff where it's done a little bit more magical on some levels in something with the way Holmes puts shit together. But Jessica doesn't use her superpowers. She doesn't have a superpower, detective powers or something like that. Her powers are strength.
All his fucking contacts is check your app. Is he near you? Check his app. Is he near you?
Yeah.
It's probably like a fuck within 500 yards app or something like that. You know what I mean? Just a fuck away. So, that's what I'm thinking. That, she's using this app to triangulate where the fuck they went off to. And I like that she brings back up the trading one addiction for the other, and that, he's a recovering addict, and you all are fucking screwing him over by participating in this.
And as always, Jay in the chat mentions the example Mask of the Phantasm, and is probably one of my favorite Batman movies ever made. So excellent pick, great stuff. Joker is amazing in that movie. Dear Joe, stop saying correct things. Tim wants to rant at you later. Stop saying correct things, Joe. Ian says I like this new. Jay says, I don't think that Malcolm betrayed Jessica. I want to deal with that in a second here. I like this new setup with the 2 panels and the phone number. Thank you, Ian. I'm tweaking it here and there, but I appreciate it. We're going to be doing this new setup from now on. Jessica has super pissing me off powers, says Tim. Dun-dun-dun. But I love this shit. This is where she says the thing about banter with a hallucination. And, wow, all that switching over, and I didn't even take a bite of a sandwich. Joe's like, fuck you, dude. No sandwich bite? Why'd you switch over the camera? Don't light it if you're not, don't put the mustard in if you're not going to bite it. So strong athletic skills. In the garage, Malcolm forces his way out of the trunk, and Trish shoots him at his foot. Basically does the Joe Pesci to Spider thing. Dance, Spider! And Trish and Carl tear out of the parking lot. And small thing that I liked, that when they had Jessica chasing after the car and doing that superhero jump over the thing trick where she was going to land on the car, I like how they had her not actually be in time. I don't know how many superhero shows that I've seen when someone does that jump move. They're always perfectly timed out landing on there. Dark Knight, speaking of Batman, Dark Knight has a moment like that at the very beginning of the movie. And I like that she missed, and Trish was hauling ass out of there. You can't stop a fucking junkie that crackhead strength, and Trish has crackhead strength right now. She's like, zah. So, okay, so Malcolm makes himself useful by figuring out the logo on the shopping bag.
Kidnapping.
Everything. Jessica hallucinates on Kilgrave.
But it's okay. She's an addict. She doesn't know what she's doing.
Leave Trish alone. Leave Trish alone, Joe.
All just for her own ego. I'm not good enough. I need to be a super. I need to be famous. One way or the other, I need to have this power.
And Jay adds, I think Malcolm was the best part of Alias, and if Jessica was smart, she would realize that next season she's stupid, so she won't. And Tim says, yes, Phil, that was a waste of mustard.
And why wouldn't this doctor just knock her ass out and leave? Like, okay, I'll make you a super. Like, this shouldn't be in the wrong person's hands. That's why I ultimately quit and moved away and hid. But this fucking psychotic cunt who's shooting at a dude that she had locked up in her fucking trunk. Yeah! She seems like a great candidate to make into a super. Don't worry. I know what I'm doing. Fucking asshole.
He is a fucking asshole. He's also an easy mark. And Trish kind of gets at him in that moment when she points the gun on him and goes, where are you going? Don't you want to do something? I'm going to be a real hero. Make me a hero. I want it. I need it.
Obviously, you're going to be a hero because you're holding me at gunpoint saying, you know, do what I want me, make me a superhero or I'll kill you or turn you in. But first, make me a superhero. Damn it. Like, all right.
But here, she's Patsy.
I'll get the needle ready. It's just one simple shot. Don't worry, sweetheart. You'll be fine.
But she's
fucking unreal.
But she's Patsy.
Like, and this is where I'm like, this is the point, and this is in the Kilgrave episode still, right?
Yep.
And it's the end, albeit, but I'm like, you can't be fucking serious. Like, at this point in the series, to me, the writing took a sharp left fucking turn, and it all became like all the decisions Jess makes and Trish makes and everybody makes from this point on. I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me?
So
none of it really made too much sense to me. Like,
very fair. So let's get into this and talk about it so we can see what made the least sense and what stuff you enjoyed, if anything, here in the end. So Malcolm breaks through Kilgrave's course to tell Jess that the bag was from a veterinarian clinic where Carl and Trish did their little supermarket sweep for anesthesia necessary to operate on her. So the time we go back to where it all began at IGH, are you feeling, the writer says, are you feeling nostalgic? Carl sure is. So many things were born here. We learned some gruesome facts about something we already knew, that Jessica's surgery took 20 days, but don't worry, he's been honing the procedure ever since. He also warns Trish that the abilities that Jess and Alyssa developed were a side effect related to something specific in their DNA. Trish is like, well, my DNA is all fucked up. I won't get anything good. Trish's experiences could be totally different.
Yeah, right? Like, what the fuck?
But
it was a side effect to their DNA, but don't worry, we'll do the procedure to you. You know, it must work. It must work just fine because, you know, you're not sick or injured right now. Right. So it'll do something good for you. Don't worry. I don't know what it's going to do, but it'll do something. Yeah, he cares more about the science than he does about the people. Then why didn't he go to the government with all this shit?
Yep. Yeah, I agree. And he didn't want the government to manipulate. He wanted to be the only psycho in charge.
Because he
wanted to be the only psycho in charge.
Anything. So it's fuck them all.
So very quickly, Trish goes from thinking Carl's a monster to needing him to help her save the world. And Jessica in Kilgrave, and yes, we will talk about Hogarth at the end here.
The infinite funding he could have had, the infinite test subjects that he could have just asked for from the military, prime suspects.
As Jessica's figuring out everything,
samples, I mean,
Kilgrave is gleefully telling her that Trish will look better in tights than she is, and then there's another hallucination, another. Jessica's eyes in the street is swarmed with Kilgrave everywhere, shouting from all sides of her. The one thing that snaps her out of it is, come on, smile for me, and then she just like snaps out of it. Jessica comes this close to choking a random guy that she thinks is him, but Malcolm breaks it up, and then again, one last time. And I agree, I think Malcolm's been awesome for her this season, Jay, and I think showing his detective skill and what he's learned, I think he has a definite talent for the detective work as well, and I do see Malcolm and Jessica coming back together again at some point. As the police approach, he encourages her to go ahead without him. I'm not sure it will all go smoothly, but he waves them all apart. As Carl interjects these Pop-Tart needles, which are really fucking scarily looking, into Trish's back, her body convulses, blood spills from her mouth. Jessica shows up right at the right time, sooner than I thought she was going to show up, and she shows up, and Carl's like, listen, I can't let the experiment fail. I can fix this. As Trish is basically coding on the table. But Jess is already breaking in, almost killing him with Kilgrave just screaming at her in her head, like, this guy is evil. This guy tortured you for 20 days. Kill him, kill him, kill him. Jessica basically just starts repeating the words line for line that the Kilgrave in her head starts saying, but catches herself before she kills him because she does have control. She whispers to him, your life is over, that she'd rather see him in prison. And she runs away to rescue Trish and get away from there. Carl pulls the gun from Trish's bag, his lab. He realizes that I'm useless, but I think he realizes that I don't want to spend the rest of my life in jail. I wouldn't do well in jail. He needs to destroy it all, so he does a quote-unquote noble thing. And quote-unquote.
So she runs off, and okay, there was an explosion. I guess he killed himself. He didn't rig it all. Like, she ran out of the room, and he was like, okay, I got 30 seconds. Let me rig this matchbook explosive and gas and get out the back door.
Joe, even if I want to take it for face value of what happened, what an asshole, because can you give me 10 minutes to get out of here and then blow yourself up? Okay, cool. I don't mind. Or at worst, what he knows is he knows Alyssa well enough to know that once she finds out he dies, she's going to go on a fucking rampage. Yep. So basically, he's not doing anyone any favors. He's being the most selfish fuck on the planet right now, because it's not about his work not getting out there. It's about he doesn't want anyone else to work on his work. It's just an egotistical thing with him, and it's a coward for not wanting to be in jail, and it's selfish for sicking Alyssa on everybody because baby couldn't get his bottle and make another fucking super. So fuck you, Carl. Fuck you very kindly, buddy. Eat shit. Yep. Fuck.
Some hippie.
Yeah, some hippie. Go fucking wear your dead shirt.
He knows that she's going to rage out when she finds out that he died. You know, she knows it. Even if he killed himself, she knows it. He knows it.
So Jess gets Trish to the hospital, though. I wonder if she could survive any of this. Wasn't the inhaler alone enough to supposedly kill her? Feels like there will be some troubling side effects and probably...
Maybe that altered her DNA enough already to start.
Now, let's continue. Kilgrave is still lurking as Jessica sits alone in the waiting room. You're here, but I won, she says to him while reading her reflection in the window. Her mother will be heartbroken about Carl, but she still has me. Yeah, sure thing, Jessica. That'll work. Kilgrave says that, like, you're enough, but Jess claims to one victory that I'm not a killer. I'm not you. I'm not my mother. I can control myself, which means I'm more powerful than you ever were. Kilgrave says, well, I'll be around if you need me. Then Carl's death and the mega explosion have already made the news, which Alyssa can see from her cell. Earlier, she enjoyed the flashback in seeing the beach and learning about the Mariana Trench, 36,142 feet deep. And Carl says, screw ethics, and kissed her for the first time. Now she knows that he's dead, and Trish was the last person to see him alive, thanks to that fan photo, which she can see on the TV, which just makes her go crazy, and she starts breaking through and pulling a nutty, which Marilyn, such an idiot, just goes right in the room, and Marilyn gets killed very quickly, and Jessica Jones's mother breaks out, and that's it. And that's basically the end of that episode. I think I skipped over some of the Hogarth stuff, but we'll talk about Hogarth in...
she's working on her own little detective shit, trying to find fuckface and wife.
Exactly, but we'll get into that in the next episode.
And mate, I don't know, fuckface and dude.
So Jay says, I was talking about Malcolm at running business, setting appointments, fixing office after battles, and taking initiative in solving Hogarth's case. All the regulars, what's up, Casey Atheist? Great to see you in the live motherfucking chat right now. Good to see all of you. Says Joe's looking great, and I think Joe responded to that. Hogarth finger banged her way to success, says Paul. Yes, because Hogarth is not as good as Trish in the Jessica thing, says Tim. So let's just go right into this next episode and get through these episodes, and then we'll talk a little bit more at the end and take some more comments from the chat. And if anyone wants to get any voicemails in, 781-990-8509. I think Tim wants to rant at you, Joe, and I want to look back at some of the comments that we got as well. So let's just yada yada through this shit a little bit. So we get into episode 12, aka Pray for My Patsy. What happened to Trish? According to Jessica, an asshole happened to her. Doctors don't really know what to expect, what's going on inside her body, or if she'll ever wake up. But apparently this was an interesting point that got popped in, and I think each one of these seasons have little things leading into other seasons of the series. I think one of the things that we had dripping in here was apparently there are other back alley doctors doing sketchy surgeries to try to give superpowers to normal people. This isn't entirely unfamiliar to the Doctor at the time. So there's other people out there doing fucking with people, and I have a feeling this might come back later in one of the other series. It might.
Well, we know Luke, right? He's a result of a completely other mad scientist as Jessica and Mom. So there are mad scientists everywhere performing DNA experiments and shit on everybody all over the place. You want powers? Just find the right scumbag doctor to go fuck.
Just go to the dark web. You can get it. Just know the right place to look.
Just like healing, though, you might be fucked.
And, okay, so then we get into probably the most unrealistic scene in almost any one of these Netflix series, that Trish's mother acts like a normal person. And there's a scene where they're standing over
Jess,
where she says, Jess, I don't blame you for this. There's no reason to argue about whose fault this is right now with Trish dying in the bed. If Trish dies, you and I are the only ones we're the only people that have each other. You know, we're the only family that the two of us have left. And Jessica is like, oh, what's going on here? Trish's mother's not being a ridiculous, succubus, horrible individual.
By the end of this conversation.
By the end of the episode, she is. Yeah, totally. Once she finds out anything about Jessica's mother, she totally. But in this brief moment, Trish's mother is almost a normal person in the scene. It's the most unrealistic thing to happen in all these Netflix series now. There's like a half a second where she's almost all right. So speaking of Jessica's family, Alyssa broke out of jail, scooped up some clothes from Goodwill, which aren't totally dissimilar to the style of the flannel shirt out with, or whatever, and makes every tourist's favorite destination Times Square. I've never related to Alyssa more than in this moment where the swarms of annoying people all around her fill her with murderous rage. Every Trish Talk poster she sees, and this is a funny moment, she sees reminds her that she has to kill Trish, and they're taking down the posters, and some guy's like, we've got an extra one if you want it. She's like, whatever. So Alyssa stops by the radio station and bursts in when she sees another blonde woman that looks kind of like her and throws Trish's boss up against a wall. And that's it. Then we're talking about a woman who handles setbacks in a completely reasonable way. Let's get to Hogarth here a little bit. Hogarth hunts down the pawn shops where Inez and Shane sold her stuff and also gets a handgun and curly fries from... I forget the character's name, but he's in all.
But it's awesome that he's in this episode.
Yeah, he's
in every season of every.
Yeah, he's the new Rosario Dawson. Oh, and people.
He's been in every single Daredevil 1, 2, Iron Fist. He's been in them all.
Yep,
I think he's been in every single one of them. I'm pretty sure. Maybe not Punisher.
So
maybe, but I think he was.
And
somehow I think he was.
And this was an awesome scene. I love seeing Hogarth back to form and going for a sweet revenge here. So he got her a gun and some curly fries, which is really awesome. She then tells Inez she bumps into is casing the place where she knows he is, and she sees Inez takes her into the car and explains that Shane is a con artist and kind of manipulates her against
Look,
Shane.
I have these letters. They're evidence.
He's an awful person, and he's manipulating you. And Inez is like, I'm going to kill this guy. So
then Inez gets out of the car, goes upstairs, and tells her, look bitch is down there right now, just gave me this gun, thinks I'm going to come up here and kill you. We should make it look real good. I'll stand there in front of the window. You get off screen while I pull the trigger. It'll be awesome. We're going to fuck this bitch over again.
And Tim says that's what Marvel does. They do this stuff. When the Avengers or X-Men guys are when the Avengers or the X-Men are busy, call these guys. That should be Luke and Iron Fist's slogan for
Avengers Light.
So then we get into Artie Bucco and his partner Ruth Sunday, who never really liked or trusted Jessica. They grill her at Alias. Where is your mother? Where could she be? Jessica kind of bullshits and rifles through one of Carl's old journals. And that's evidence. Why do you have that? Well, I'm helping you right now. And patient exhibited obsessive destructive fixation on an object or a person. Jessica, which she should have figured right away, figures out that Alyssa will be after Trish, and Trish will not be safe without Jessica at the hospital. Sure, her location is private now, but dude, she's Patsy. So right on cue.
Yep.
the mother shows up and blows Trisha's cover. She just can't help herself, and the mother's just, oh yes, Patsy's at the hospital. She's doing good. Thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers. And we see the mother being back in the hotel room and with one of Carl's t-shirts, crying about him being dead and finding out Trisha's location. Solid work, Mom. So and then with that, Alyssa steals an RV from a total fucking idiot kid that just doesn't even see her walk behind him and take the RV. And she likes to drive. She's a really good driver. So, so Carl left her. I wonder how much she drove over all this time, but whatever. I guess it's like riding a bike. So Jess and Alyssa drive in or get into Trisha's hospital room basically at the same exact time. Don't you love it when shit like that works out? Jess tries to talk her mom down, assuring her that Trish isn't responsible for all her anguish. That's just a story you made up in your head. Then just because I'm paranoid doesn't mean Trish isn't after me. Then Alyssa grabs Jess and uses her arm to choke Trish, which is all awesome. But then Jess is able to reach for her mom somehow and can get a couple shots on her every once in a while. And cries to her in a really excellently acted scene, "Don't do this to me again, please. Like, don't kill the only family I have." Now, Alyssa for a second stops by this, and she's stunned that anyone by her return to Nom. And it really kind of shocked me that she was immediately not, because she could break down the homicidal thing for a second. She's trying to work out the plan that will work without Jess. Like, how she can get Jess out of here and kill her at the same time. But just as she's trying to figure out a way, Costa and her partner pop into the room. Alyssa takes Sunday as hostage and then jumps backwards through the window and dies on impact, and it's fucking horrible. This is fucking, like, not really horrible, predictable in a sense, but oh my god, this just again shows, Joe, that this girl, or that Alyssa just doesn't give a fuck, dude. She does not give any fucking fucks.
To get what she wants, she'll kill to get what she wants, to have her ends needed.
Yeah. And I can't believe, and to go to your point about being confused or not completely being on board with everything that happens in these last episodes, the more I talk through, the more it seems surprising to me that Jessica would ever agree to go with her again at any point.
At this point, right here in the room, it's take the shot, Costa. The fuck are you waiting for?
Yeah, and what is...
You know that this woman is going to kill her. Yeah.
It's almost a little bit on Artie Bucco. It's similar to when he had a shot at Benny and he just couldn't take it. He basically fails here in this situation as much as more even so than Jessica. Jessica's trying to calm the situation, but Costa had a shot and hesitated. And he said he did it because of Jessica, or he blames Jessica for it, but this was really his fault. He should have taken that shot.
Yeah, Jessica didn't ever tell him, as far as I can remember, and I remember thinking this immediately afterwards. Jessica doesn't say, "No, don't shoot her. Don't shoot. Don't shoot." Jessica's saying, "Let her go." He's saying, "Let her go," and she's not doing it. And the cop is saying, "Shoot her." Yeah. But I don't remember Jessica being like, "Don't shoot. Don't shoot. You know, we can solve this," or she'll surrender or anything. I don't remember that coming out of Jessica's mouth. "Because you trusted me." About what? Bitch, psychotically, everything I said she was going to do, she did until she broke out of prison, which I said she was going to do if that dude fucking died.
Yeah, and and murdered a cop there, continuously murdered. This is a mass murderer. This isn't just, so.
Why do you think I turned her into you in the first place, Costa?
Yep.
For killing people left and right.
So,
fuck.
So Sunday dies on impact. A pool of blood swells around her body with a little trail of bloody footprints where Alyssa fled. Again, she can jump out, do a backflip out a window here pretty easily. So, okay, so now that she knows the deal with Jessica's mom, she's here to tell Jess that Alyssa must be so proud of the heartless monster you turned into. Oh, okay. This is what Trisha's mother says to Jessica and starts shit-talking her. Trish has been transported to the morgue, and if anyone else is surprised, there isn't a doctor or nurse with her at all times. Seems like a sort of skeleton staff there. Cops are here to shadow Jess until it's all over in case her mom comes back. Costa, who stuck his neck out for Jess over and over again, still believes in her, but the body count has gotten too high, too close to home. "Hey, Jones, why don't you try and be a hero," he tells her, and that's not you. So So then we get a little comic relief in the morgue attendant who quips about Trish. I told her to stick with her lifestyle format. Remember how useful he was last season. So those used to be the good old days. Jess gets a minute alone to talk to Trish, who is unconscious. She admits in basically an empty room that she was always jealous of Trish having a mother. And I don't know about that mother. Trish comes to with a loving greeting, calling her an asshole after confirming some basic details. Am I dead? But you should be for some stupid shit. Trish lashes out at Jess for derailing her one chance to have powers. Jess doesn't even deserve the powers she has, she keeps going. All you do is piss them away. And Jess cracks, fuming over this being the focus of your ridiculous insecurity, and they have a real argument. Like, they go back and forth, and Trish, similar to what she did when she was an addict during the Cray Cray episode, where she attacks her for going to college and a similar attack tries to work Jess's insecurity, and Jessica kind of calls her on this one and comes back and I agree. This is where Jay makes a point, and maybe you disagree with this, Joe. Trish has some points with what she's saying to Jessica about she doesn't take it seriously enough, the power she has, and the responsible, and she drinks it away and all that sort of crap. She makes a couple of decent points here to her, but again, it's the Walter thing. You're being an asshole, Trish. So then...
Right, Trish. Because you had everything. And you pissed it all away. Then they gave it all back to you to be a pop star. And you pissed it all away. And then they said, okay, we'll give you a shot at radio. And you just about pissed it all away, yelling at me from your little hospital bed. Go fuck yourself. You're an idiot, and the words you speak fall to deaf ears because every step of the way you have accomplished everything you accuse me of. So go fuck yourself.
I love it, Joe. Love it. So he's trying. Okay, so then for a second, Alyssa calls. Jess refers to Trish as her best friend, and then when Alyssa and Jess need a place to meet, Trish volunteers her apartment. Now, okay, and I guess it's a good example and of friends, whatever you want to talk about, who's right, who's wrong in the situation. I like that in this moment, anyways. Even though they hate each other or are angry at each other and can say these shit to each other. Maybe Trish wants to get Alyssa in a place where she can get her later, because eventually through this, she tries to talk Jess into murdering her there. She's inviting her into her apartment. Now they talk about it. I know what Trish is doing. She's telling her to go to the apartment because that's where the weapons are. So Jess can take one of the weapons and kill her there. That's a safe place for her to kill her. But anyways, she's still like, they break down after saying all that horrible shit to each other. They're right away and again almost talking sensibly to each other right afterwards. That flies. I've been that way with Joe. I've been that way with some other friends where you're like screaming at the person, going crazy, and then the next second you're like, oh, dude, you want to go get some curly fries? Okay, cool. We'll go get some curly fries. And then you still have the anger about the situation, but it's like there's certain people that, at least at this point, Jessica isn't ready to wipe herself of Trish. She just wanted Trish to know how she felt in that moment, in response to what she said, because she really does look at her as her best friend or her sister or whatever. So Trish tells Jess where they stashed Simpson's arsenal and tells her to put Alyssa down. You're the only one powerful enough to do it. I guess apparently not. It only takes a long-distance shot with a handgun on a Ferris wheel. Trish also says she would totally do it herself if she was powered, which is not exactly relevant or fair, but I guess is another connection to the fact that she is powered at this point. She has already got her powers that we see manifest itself later, but it could have manifested itself on that shot too, whatever, on like perfect concentration, whatever she ended up getting. So Trish says she would totally do it if herself. She's superpowered, which is not exactly relevant but fair. But whatever, we've all been through a lot. Also, she won't even delete her own mother and her mother's super fucking toxic. So it's interesting how quickly she wants Jessica to cast off her own mother in this situation.
To go kill her own mother.
And can't understand why it might be difficult, dude. It's even if my mother wasn't, not too much information, I'm not going to go like all personal, but my mother wasn't the best person in the world, but I still fucking love my mother, and I still had to make excuses, and you make excuses for your mother at certain points. You'll always make excuses, but and even when
I don't have to make excuses for my mother. My mother's perfect.
Oh, she's fucking a sweetheart. Yeah, I mean you're lucky. You have the biggest sweetheart mother in the fucking world. And but no, I mean everybody has good and bad qualities, but you know, Joe, I mean, like we all go through shit, but even through all the shit that I had to go through, I still, you know, love her and took care of her when she was sick. And you still go through that shit. You got to go through that shit. And so the fact that Trish has no sensitivity to the fact that this might be difficult for Jess, even if it is the right decision, Walter, you're an asshole. So then Trish has some weird fucking convulsions and shit. And this is, if you go from the end to now, this is her getting her superpowers as the superpowers are starting to come into her body. Soon enough, Jess manages to give her tail a slip and gets the morgue van driver to give her a lift to Trish's place. By that time Alyssa gets there, Jess has her gun cocked and pressed against the back of Alyssa's head. Jess feels like she's out of options. Alyssa, who isn't the world's most unbiased party here, insists that isn't the case. Jess points out that Alyssa came within inches of killing Trish. Alyssa escalates by response, "An inch is miles for me." She says that Jess can pull back from the edge of time every time, and they'll be a great team. Now, Alyssa thinks...
Hell yeah, Broke.
What does Broke say?
If his mother was out on a killing spree, I wouldn't rat her out. Give her a head start. Hell yeah.
Yep. You'd have to. You'd have to. Fuck that.
I got a place for her to hide a couple bodies if she needs them.
Put me in jail for accessory. I would have to commit crimes with my mother. Yeah, statute of limitations. I committed crimes with my mother. I had to. She asked me, you do it, even if I thought it wasn't right. So you do that. You do a lot of shit for your mother. So your brains is just too goddamn broke, even if it's the right one. So Alyssa says there's nothing to live for without Jess, which would have been a more touching thing to say before Carl died. So pull the trigger, she says, at her daughter. Honestly, I would rather if it was you. I don't think Alyssa believed Jessica would actually do it. Just days earlier, Alyssa was appalled to learn that Jess was racked with guilt for being the distraction that caused the family car crash. If Jess was crushed by how responsible, and again, this is the writer's stuff, but I think it's fun stuff. If Jess was crushed by how responsible she felt for that, a fatal accident that took place when she was just a child riding in the back seat, how would she ever live with herself for literally killing her mother point blank? Jessica loses her nerve. Alyssa grabs the gun and knocks her out cold. Alyssa kidnaps her daughter, throws her in the back of the trailer, and
yep, obviously my mom loves and cares about me a lot. She's going to make me either shoot her or that's my option. Great, Mom. Thanks that you would want me to have to live with that. Wonderful.
And
one I should spend some more time with.
And Jay says it's not a good comparison unless your mother's a mass murderer. It's a comparison on a minor level. Yeah, and how do you know? I didn't tell you what she did. She could have been.
What those crimes were.
Yeah, you don't know what those crimes were.
You did say statute of limitations, and there is none on murder.
Fair, Joe. Hey, Lola, great to see you. And great to see everyone in the live chat. John Wayne, haven't finished this yet, but I thought I'd jump in the chat and say hello. Great to see Mel in the live motherfucking chat. Great to see all of those. Joe doesn't look happy, says Lolo. Joe's always happy. Who are you kidding? He's always happy. So Jess wakes up. Alyssa talks about, okay, so this is our final episode of the season, episode 13, a.k.a. Playland. Now, it's a Jones family road trip. It can't possibly end more tragically than it did last time, right? So when Jess wakes up, Alyssa talks about the life they could have had together. Alyssa is still thrilled that she no longer actually homicidal, but it was almost a homicidal while she may be. But Jessica bluntly puts it, you're insane. The way, because as Joe said, she just fucking attacks her and throws her in the back of the car. She's like, aren't I better? Yeah, you're so much better, Mom. It's fucking progress. So Jessica's situation isn't entirely unlike the one Alyssa was in the Carl situation. Technically, she's not a prisoner, but also she's not in a position to leave without some potentially ugly consequences. So I'm just going to kind of yada all this as we get towards the end. So Alyssa goes for the sales pitch. She and Jessica are the two most powerful women in the world. We can do anything except stay in New York and keep their identities. But we can do anything. Drunken days fall by drunken nights. Jessica doesn't want to leave Trish behind, but Alyssa tells her it's impossible for normal people to be around powered people. Chloe's still fuming about the way Jessica's dad held her back. She continues to attack the dad several times in this episode. Alyssa rails against morals who likes supers like the Jones women, dimming out a light, limping your way through life. It sounds like a sweet, incestuous version of the future, but Alyssa knows that she's doing what she's after. So does Jessica. Imagine going your whole life without your mom. Okay, so So basically, she is just trying to convince her through this whole episode to go on her side. And ultimately, there is a family that is on the side of the road that is a wreckage, and both Alyssa and Jess pull the family from the rescue.
Earlier on the road.
Oh, do they? I missed that part. So they do pass them earlier?
While they're having their back and forth in the RV, Jessica looks out the window at the happy family traveling. And, 5 minutes later down the road, this car has been hit by a, big truck, and it's carnage and flames, and they go on their little superhero spree and save them all.
Jay has a question for you. Joe, who do you think is a worse person,
Okay.
Trish's mom or Jess's mom?
Here's the thing, and I think Jessica put this the best way, answered it best. Jessica's mom has severe brain injuries. Those alter a personality and alter your ability, or can, not always, but can also alter your ability to not necessarily know right from wrong, but impulse control can be greatly reduced, if not completely destroyed, with some brain injuries. Now, that doesn't make an excuse, but it does mean that her personality has been altered, and not necessarily some of the things she does can be attributed to her directly, right? And it's still her fault. She goes out and kills people. Don't get me wrong.
No, it's an explanation. It's an explanation. It's not an excuse.
It's for her personality, right? Now, everybody's got trauma. Obviously, we've seen Trish has trauma in her past as well. But as far as who do I think is a worse person, I can't really. I think it's almost 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, because by the end of this, Trish is just a fucking murderer too. Trish did not go there to save a life. Trish didn't go and she purposefully went to the park where she knew that they were to take the life of the mother. Not to save Jessica, not to talk Jessica out of it, not to go stop police from getting murdered. No, just specifically to go murder Jessica's mom. The murders that we necessarily see the mother commit, they were much more spur of the moment, impulse control murders, and not necessarily planned out, with the exception of the one she wanted to commit on on the other PI.
Yeah.
Like, I don't necessarily know if we have any we see her premeditate any murders, but we know that Trish absolutely premeditated that murder, because there was, they're in the fucking Ferris wheel. There's no, nobody was in danger at that moment. And yet Trish still felt the need to go shoot this woman in the head. Like, yeah, she attacked you. Okay. But this is not self-defense. Like, if I attack you and 3 days later you come shoot me, that's not self-defense. It's just not. I'm sorry. It doesn't work that way. But if I'm attacking you and I'm continuing to attack you and you shoot me, all right, self-defense. If I attack you and then I start running away and you shoot me in the back, not self-defense.
Do you need Tim to quote Spock? Because he will. With great power comes great with the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. I love, if you say great power comes great responsibility to me, I'll freak out. So Alyssa and Jess rescue the family from a car crash, but as Alyssa goes back to pull the one last person from the wreckage, the flames bloom bigger and a huge explosion erupts. Jessica thinks she might have lost her mom for real this time, but no, everyone's okay. Overcome with relief, Jess hugs Alyssa so hard. It's the first real emotional hug that we've seen them have.
Because I thought you died just then. What I would have imagined, she's having all this problem with, I can't turn you in, I can't jump out of the car, all these ways of her trying to escape that she went over, right, would end up horribly wrong and with people dead. But her first thing when mom may have died in that explosion isn't, don't have to deal with that. It's over. No, and okay, maybe I understand that, but then again, I just don't understand this response, this big hug response, this big oh, phew, you're not dead. I love you so much, Mom. I just don't understand this at all. This made no sense as far as the writing was concerned in my head. It completely fucking ruined the flow of the whole fucking story. Completely out of character for Jessica, even if she is all in trauma. Like, I did not like this hug whatsoever.
And then it transitioned into the hug. Jess is clinging to her mom like she will drown without her, Joe. So back at the ranch, Trish vitals are normal and her mom is manipulating and mean. It's normal stuff. Trish believes that Jess needs her help, but Dorothy is unconvinced. What exactly is a failed radio personality going to do that a trained law enforcement professional and a superpowered woman can't? Malcolm leaves his keys to Jessica's place because...
I'll show you.
After in the last episode, Jessica fired him one last time, and he said, "I'll save you from asking me back. I quit." Places the key on the desk, calls.
She never once asked you the fuck back. You just kept coming back. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Really, Malcolm? Like, you completely missed everything that was ever said to you in one of those moments. And have been living in your own fucking fantasy world about what you want to happen. You'll save me from what and quit? What? I've never asked you back. I just wake up and you're in my fucking living room again and again.
Oh, we got Lola who says, "I think Joe is right," and gives a fucking spin for Lola. Thank you so much, Lola, for the super chat donation, and really do appreciate that. It's always awesome to see Lola, one of our longtime friends, that says Joe. It actually landed on a Joe one. It says, "Joe, do a character impression." So think about it.
Joe, I want powers now, Daddy.
Do it.
Now. It's my
What? Do a little bit more, Joe.
Hey, Daddy,
Trisha Van Salt.
Here we go again.
All right,
I want powers now, Daddy. I want powers now. I want to be strong, Daddy.
Bunker, how much do you want for the golden goose?
They're not for sale.
Name the price.
Why not, Daddy? Give them to me now.
Give it to me now.
There we go. I didn't want to play too much of it, but there we go. Good job, Joe, and thank you so much to Lola for the super chat donation. Really do appreciate that. I love when it lands.
I want it now, Daddy. Fucking soundbite ready for that.
Yeah, I did. I had it. I had it right there. There we go.
I want to wear 'em like braids in my hair, and I don't want to share 'em.
There we go. That's the Patsy theme song. Everyone knows it's Patsy.
10,000 tons of ice cream.
Sorry. Okay, so he said she kept letting him come back and said, "In case you change your mind, I quit. I still say Jessica is stupid for firing him." Guess what? Not on Earth, but you could have scolded Tim with the first episode. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by the awesomeness of the live motherfucking chat as always. So okay,
no, she didn't have to fire him. She didn't have to fire him. She kept telling him to take initiative to go do. What are you sitting here for? Why aren't you going? Like, go do. You know, she didn't have to fire him. You know, he's still learning. He made a couple of mistakes, but no, absolutely. It was definitely a mistake of hers, but she's been firing him since day one anyway. So
yeah, because she doesn't.
This guy can go fuck himself.
And I don't want to say just because I like the way the Jessica Jones character is mostly written doesn't mean she's not a fucking asshole too. I don't mean to be so high on every decision she makes right. No, she makes a lot of fucking stupid asshole decisions.
Go and do? What does fuckface go and do after he fucked that all up so bad? He goes and steals her fucking shit.
He steals her case. Yeah,
for himself.
He steals.
Right?
He steals Jerry's case and dug up some dirt.
Fuck him, asshole. Straight asshole.
And Malcolm deals with his breakup from Jessica and Trish by giving him a dramatic haircut and a whole new look. Now, I feel like now it's a good time to say every single episode of the season was direct. Okay, let's now Daredevil. Sorry, I'm just reading. I'm skipping over some of the writers' stuff. Malcolm goes to Jerry's apartment to tell her he's officially gone freelance. Next, we see Jerry striding into her office, looking very cat-like caught the canary as she corners her partners in the conference room, using her leverage, thanks to Malcolm, to get a few more zeros added to her buyout plan. Plus, all her clients, including Rand, so she keeps Danny, and the biggie, which is the biggie. And I love that she.
That's 64%.
I'm taking it all. I'm taking it all. But Jerry is happy to compensate Malcolm for his efforts. Whatever number was on the check made his eyebrows go, what the fuck? But he's inexperienced, and she's starting her own firm, so she doesn't need a private investigator like on salary. But she is going to pay him handsomely. It's like, get your shit together. How much, just for joking standpoint, how much money do you think she gave him? I know there's not really. It's like what's in the box or something. But
10 to 25. Somewhere in between.
10 to 25. I was going to say 25
10
to
50.
20.
10 to 25 shuts my mouth immediately in that moment.
Yeah, what movie is that? You just give someone $25,000. It's should I give them a check for $1 million or $25,000 cash? $25,000 shuts anybody up. I forget what movie that's from. It's a line from a movie. But yeah, I tend to think it was between 25 and 50. But was my thought.
50 is a little high, but.
Malcolm will start his own agency. Yeah, I hope so, and I hope that's what he does with his money. Lola says she's impressed with your character impression there. So as for our Joneses on the run, Jess meets with Oscar, who brought the papers for her mom, but tells him that she needs papers too. And Oscar, who brought Brooke says, "Are you an idiot? What are you doing? Don't be a moron." And Jess points out that the reason why you care so much about your son, he said something about how much he gives a shit about his son. And she said, the reason why you care so much about your son is why I care about my mother. And yeah, I'm with Joe to a certain extent. I buy her need for it. And again, I don't like to make things too personal, but I can relate. You need someone in your life. You don't know a part of your family. They come back into your life. You think you lose them. They're back. She wants this to believe this, but she also many times has made the right rational decision here. Knows her mother is a murderer. Knows her mother's all fucked up. Knows Oscar's right here, and is trying to connect the dots and say, the relationship I have with my mom's the same you have with your son. No, that's an insult to the relationship. That's an insult to what Oscar is as a father. He's a good father. He has a good relationship with his son from everything we've been seeing. Your mother is a fucking... The entity that is your mother now. Your mother ceased to exist after the car accident. The Frankenstein monster that was built by Carl is not your mother. And it's again, if I'm doing Star Trek stuff, it's like mirror universe Jennifer Sisko. It may look a little bit like it, but it's not.
No, it doesn't. It just sounds like it.
It just sounds like it. So to me, it's more like RoboCop, but RoboCop isn't really what's his name. It's
Murphy.
Isn't Murphy? It's he has
this much of it is Murphy
in some of the memories.
Your jaw looks like Murphy. I know you're still in there. Yep. You have his jaw.
in 3 of his memories, and they
exactly 3 fractured. 3 of his memories completely fractured. You must be him.
He pieces it together through computers and shit like that. He's like, I can figure that. I can figure this shit out. So, okay. So he leans out the window over a bridge railing, whatever. Anyways, so he's like, please be careful, Jessica, and he's going to make her information, passports and stuff so she can escape too. So 8 hours to Montreal. Alyssa's on a high, hopes as there will be side-by-side superheroes. We know how Jessica feels about spandex. Alyssa's more open-minded. I could totally rock a unitard. Cute scene. We also know how Jessica feels about the suburbs. They're currently winding through Westchester at the time. So Detective Costa figures out, like, the kid who finally realizes that his trailer was stolen and left his phone or left another phone in the car, because we actually see him with his phone or with whatever. A phone got left in the car. And
when they all picked up the kids, the family, they stuffed them in the trailer.
Oh, they did. Okay, so that kid left the car. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that was the phone.
That was the phone. Okay, so I thought it was the kid. So we hear the voice of a rig. Costa says, I'm one of the good cops, but I still believe you're one of the good ones too, but you have to prove it. There's no hope for Alyssa, who crossed a line she can't come back from. And
this is so true. No matter what, you're going to get to the border. So you don't want cops here to die. You want all the Border Patrol to die instead. You don't think we've sent out, you don't think we've got you going north, going west, like towards the borders and shit. Like, are you kidding me?
And
are you kidding me? Come on.
Yeah, and Jessica talks to him for enough time, goes to see Costa goes to see Trish and tells her that Jessica is aiding and abetting Alyssa's escape. Trish refuses to believe it, that Jess would do such a thing. But then Costa, who's frankly been right about almost everything this season, reminds Trish that we only get one mother. That's a powerful bond, no matter how batshit crazy they might be. Costa will try to bring Jess into safety, but says no promises. Trish, in the tone of a voice of someone who clearly knows where Jess could be, says she has no idea where Jess could be.
And then gives him a, no, I don't know. The face she gives him afterwards. Like, no, I'm not lying to you.
So can I just understand the logistics of all of this for a second here? So then Trish, apparently at this point, steals a car, leaves the hospital, and
goes to get dressed, goes get her gun.
Drives the 9 hours or so where they're still hanging out at the Ferris wheel park. I'm just a little weird, not a little.
And the cop too. Costa goes back and forth from the hospital, from like the accident place, probably because that's where the
So how long did they spend at Playland?
The roadblock? No, he called and found about the roadblock that they blew, right? But
oh, I bet they blew that roadblock.
Yeah, they were driving all night. So
Trish catches up to them. Does her superpowers come with supercar speed too? Like I'm just curious how Trish got there
so fucking quick.
And how
how many times had Trish been there? Like this was someplace that Jessica vacationed with her family.
She remembered it
before the accident.
She remembered it exactly. How long did they spend at Playland? It seems like they get there, and again, I just don't think the time was quite as. It got a little.
It was weird.
It got a little
wonky. It was weird. It was Phil. I'm telling you, these last couple episodes really seemed like slapped together, almost like the writers got to a point and they were like, I don't know what to do now. Like from the moment she gets whacked in the face with the butt of that gun. Like I'm like, I don't understand how the writers made any of these decisions.
Maybe they knew. None of them. Maybe they knew how they wanted it to end with Trish doing that, but they weren't sure how to get there.
And I'm telling you, there's probably, I could probably rattle off like 30 different ways to get there than any of the shit that happened, including that fucking weak ass, stupid fucking hug after that explosion. Like, there's so much wrong with these last 2.5, almost. The Kilgrave episode isn't as bad as the last 2 episodes in my mind. But again, like I said, it could have also been because, I had it in my mind. I'm watching a superhero thing. And there was no big superhero ending to any of this.
And
there was no big power off. There was no big, like, 2 versus 1, 1-on-1, nothing, none of that. It was all just very, what the fuck? Okay.
So to go into the chat for 1 second, Paul's rocking Steve Rave on the whole time, and that's where her shields came from. Super reflexes, Phil. She could have honestly had super driving skills. AK in there in the live motherfucking chat. Great to see you. That's what I was thinking. How did Trish get there so fast? IC says it's Littlefinger's transporter. She borrowed that.
Yeah.
She definitely did.
She borrowed Littlefinger's horse.
Yeah, she did. It zipped right up there. It was no problem. So, okay, so Jess and her end up at Playland on a Ferris wheel or some shit like that. Alyssa tells Jess back at Carl's house, the one that made Jessica smile. And you might also recognize the Ferris wheel from its prominent placement in the photo of Jess and her brother that Alyssa carries all the time with her. So Jess thinks that they're here because there are sailboats nearby, but Alyssa has other ideas. Alyssa powers up the Ferris wheel. It does look pretty cool, and then they jumps on it and they go, and they ride it. So Jess, who's never taken direction well, climbs into the seat with her mother. Alyssa finally the mom again, not the wild whatever, is in there, sacrifices for her kid. She says, listen, you need to get out of here. Somehow, and this was a weird transition on Alyssa's part, where suddenly the manipulation drops for a second, or maybe it's the final manipulation tactic when you have your mark in there and you want to give them one out. So after the fact, when they still go through with it, you can be like, I gave you an out. Why didn't you take it? So she gives her...
You forced me on the run now. I was going to give up back at the Ferris wheel.
Exactly. And I think this is that last manipulation tactic instead of a moment of clarity by Alyssa that she was thinking,
either way, if this is a last tactic like that, which I kind of didn't think it was, it's going to get a bunch of cops killed along the way through it. And that's going to turn Jessica against her because they are going to come. you just lit up an amusement park at what, 2 in the morning or some shit at 11 at night. Like, everybody in town is going to know that this happened. They're going to send police here, and you are going to kill the stupid night shift fucking cop who probably hasn't pulled anybody over in 25 years in this town or even written a ticket. Like the one cop in New York that doesn't need to fucking die.
Yep.
None of them need to die. Excuse me. Did I say that?
And then we go. The vision of the two of them as a team, Alyssa says, was the best dream I ever had. Somehow, we talk a lot, Joe. It's a lot of talk. Thank you.
I know. I'm just kidding.
Thank you so much for the sub right now. Really do appreciate that. Somehow you're standing on top of a rubble like a shining light. She tells her daughter, hero isn't a bad word. If you say great power, great responsibility, I'm going to punch you. I'm going to throw up. It's just someone who gives a shit and does something about it. Alyssa, who has raged all her life about ways their ambition was stymied, her gifts squandered into nothing, takes Jessica's face in her hand. Maybe I don't have to be amazing. Maybe I just made you. Again, I tend to think this is all... If this isn't a manipulation tactic, it's a weird, sudden turn that she suddenly drops all of it for some reason and feels bad about all of this. Or it was the plan all along for to use Jessica to get her to a point where she can't escape, like right here in the Canadian border, and then tell Jessica, fuck off, knock her out, and get the fuck out of here if she won't leave herself. Whatever it was, it makes more sense to me than suddenly she's having a moment of maternal connection right here, because I just don't buy that suddenly I don't want to include you in all of this. And Jessica says, I won't let you, too late. Right in that moment, that is when Trish somehow got there. I guess they were at the amusement park for 9 hours waiting for that Ferris wheel to power up. I honestly don't, or super reflexes, as gets mentioned in the chat, that she had from the drugs later got her to be able to drive at 150 miles per hour and concentrate or something. I don't know. Or Littlefinger magic horse, however you want to say it. Trish got there very, very quick, and it's Patsy. And she shoots Alyssa right in the side of the head, and she says, the police would have shot you both. I saved your life, Jess. And Jess,
yeah, what thinking is that? Why would you think the police were going to shoot us both unarmed on a Ferris wheel? What makes you think they wouldn't just, like, stop it when we got to the bottom at gunpoint and said, get out? Like, they're just going to blow up the fucking park. Yeah, okay, Trish. You're a smart one. Yeah. No, I can understand if they hold out, if they try to run, but there is a certain, maybe they beat her some, sure. But just open fire at everybody. Yep, that's them in there. I don't know if anybody else is on the bottom of the teacup or not. Any other hostages maybe around. Just open fire. Kill them all, Trish. Yep. You're so smart, Patsy. Thank God we're going to have heroes like you.
Everyone knows it's Patsy.
I did like the line, you've used up 2 of your 9 lives.
Oh, yeah, we got that one for the Hellcat, little touch to the Hellcat. You did the right thing, Costa tells her. Oh, wait, the police would have shot you both. Not wrong, but Jess obviously isn't a place to hear that right now, so she tells Trish to fucking run. And she goes back to her mom's dead body as the police arrive. She just curls up and cries, and it makes it look like she was the one that killed her mom. Costa says, you did the right thing. But yep. And back in New York, Jess gets back to work. She stops at a liquor store where a robbery is taking place, and a nifty bottle throwing skills knocks a dude out. And I love this. She tries to take the bottle for thanks of booze, and he's like, I run a business. You kind of have to pay for that. What an asshole.
Yeah.
Just fucking you.
And he's about to, like, kill the guy. I'm going to fucking kill you. I'm going to kill your whole fucking family for robbing me. Yep. That's what he yells at the guy. Just like, dude. Relax.
So on her way to
call the cops.
Yeah, call the cops. Relax, dude. On the way back to the elevator, Trisha's phone gets bumped from her hand, and she catches. Oh wait, so I'm sorry. So
I have super reflexes now.
Yeah, Trish tries to make amends, saying she'll always be Jess's sister, and I lost the only family I had. Jess,
no, you should cut it on her foot.
Jess says, "Get the fuck out of here," and yeah, she drops her phone, gets bumped, and she catches the phone on her foot.
I had to do it. Somebody had to stop her. Yeah, and somebody would have. It didn't have to be you. You didn't have to go, get out of your fucking hospital bed, travel 8 hours, and shoot my mother in the fucking head. It was not your responsibility, Trish.
So Malcolm still...
That was straight fucking murder. Straight fucking murder. That's all that was. That was planned, plotted, and executed Murder.
Malcolm, still dressed to impress, has found a new home for his talents working for Price Chang, which turns into Malcolm is working for Jerry, who has enlisted Price's service for her new firm.
Right, because Price is the detective and fuckboy there is an associate, is like outsourced or an employee, so he falls under Chang's license.
Yep. And the mystery job comes with complete autonomy, a generous retainer, and its only requirement is discretion. So Jess is alone, which it's going to be interesting to see going into Jessica Jones season 3, the Malcolm storyline connected to the Hogarth stuff, and as Hogarth gets more revenge on her situation, or she's already kind of got the ball rolling with Inez and fucking over that other dude, it's going to be Hogarth is going to be very dangerous in these series moving forward, considering her diagnosis and
depending on how much longer she's alive for.
Exactly, but I mean, I think she's not going anywhere anytime soon in these series.
Agree.
I think at least another round of these series Hogarth will be a part of. Probably if there's another round, then or she'll might even die or somehow be out of commission at the end of these round of series. So Jess is all alone. Almost her mom is dead for real this time. She and Malcolm are, as she swore she would be, just people living in the same hall, walking past each other. She's excommunicated Trish from her life. It took some time coming back from the dead to show me that I've been dead too, says her voiceover. Jess tells us and as she goes downstairs to see Oscar, who has that standing invitation for dinner. Vito's awesomely excited as says, did you save anybody today? And she pauses for a second and smiles and then actually answers his question and doesn't get all like weird about it and says, yeah, and tells the story. And that's the end of our season, Joe. So all in all, and we're going to take some questions and comments and stuff before we call it a podcast.
I liked that it did end with her at dinner with Oscar and son.
And I think, again, I mentioned earlier that I thought it was just enough episodes, but maybe these Netflix series should be 11, not 13 episodes. And everything we got in the Kilgrave episode should have been fine, but these 2 episodes could have been combined into one.
Yep.
And be a little bit tighter on some of the way that the Jessica and the mother storyline concluded and maybe not have Jessica do another turnaround and have her just have made this decision originally in the season and gone through with it to the end. Or I don't know, there's ways you could have done it a little bit differently, because I think they probably knew the exact point they wanted to end this season, and I think it ended on a very strong way leading into future seasons of Jessica Jones. But I see what you're saying now, especially talking about the episode and breaking it down, Joe, where it gets a little cluttered in the episode 12-13 transition.
Yeah, it was. Every few minutes I kept turning around going, huh? What? Like, I don't get it. Like, Costa, take the shot. Fuck.
Take the shot, Adi fucking Bucco.
I don't even know why that was the one that came to my brain right there, but there's just so many moments where I'm like, you do this writing shit so good. Why does it have to be the power that makes this decision? You know, people have to make these decisions too. And too often in all of these, you know, shows, they never take that shot. And like, I'm sorry, but you know, Katie and I have come to terms with, you ever in that kind of position, Phil, and we're in that kind, I'm taking the shot, Phil.
Yeah. And
I firmly believe the dude standing behind you, threatening to kill you, is going to do so if I put my gun down or anything else but shoot at the two of you. So you might get hit, Phil. I might end up killing you, but know that I killed you out of love to kill the motherfucker that was going to kill you.
I would accept that. And Tim,
I would too.
Tim, unfortunately, the phone line is not open right now. There's some fucking technical malfunction in it. I'm trying to fucking figure it out. But the text line works and voicemail line works right now. So if anyone wants to get their voice in right now, please call the voice and text line at 781-990-8509. I will try to get the phone line fixed by Sunday evening.
What are you doing, a poor Lotus?
I'm trying to cover the phone line, so it's not right there. I guess I could stretch her out, but she'd look really weird if I like stretched her out.
Just a little snouty.
If I did like this, I'm like, oh, here we go, yeah, stretch it out. So yeah, there we go. she's covering up. Yeah, that's horrible. But yeah, the phones line are not working right now, guys. I am very sorry, but you can definitely call and leave voicemails. So I want to get to a couple voicemails that Jay left. and also get into a text that we have. This is first the text from area code 215. Love the season of Jessica Jones. Hope Luke Cage is just as good. And I'm actually wondering how much the Iron Fist will be part of Luke Cage. We talked about that a little bit. I do think Danny Rand will be part of the next season of Luke Cage. I'd be surprised if he isn't.
Oh, God. I fucking hate Danny Rand.
Me too, Joe. Me too, Joe. So let's listen to a couple of Jay's voicemails here, and let's listen to this one right now, Joe.
Hey, question. It doesn't have to do with Jessica Jones.
Okay, we'll take. I'll listen to that question. I'll play it on a different show, Jay. I'm gonna stick this to Jessica Jones right now. Let's do this one.
I think Trish had her powers like right after the surgery, or even right after she left the hospital to go shoot her. I think she discovered her powers for the first time when she caught her phone. That was a surprised look on her face, not someone that went, "Oh shit, okay, I can catch this with my power." She was like shocked that she could do.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I was saying that she had powers before that more as an excuse of how she got there that fast. I don't think she manifested powers till that moment either.
Right, but everybody,
And I
like,
don't
shit,
think she
how many hours I spent hacky sacking? That's bound to happen one of these times I drop my phone.
But you think so? It's like when you used to, like when you, like
I
when,
kick at everything I drop. One of these times it's gonna stay to my foot.
Joe. It's like when you used to smoke cigarettes.
Hey,
Oh,
if
sorry.
Cap or Black Panther were not wearing their armor and you were fighting them, could you physically match them in a fight? I don't think they're trying to give Trish enough superpowers to say that.
Fair. Okay. So, oh yeah, what I was gonna say. Yeah, when you were a kid and you smoked butts, I remember you used to always try to throw the cigarette, into your mouth, and you said, if I keep doing this 1,000 times, eventually I'll get it, and you never got it.
I would get it like one in every like 20 attempts or some shit.
Works one of 20 times.
Like it would almost never work. Like if I pulled the cigarette out of the pack
Pete.
and did it, like one in every 50 I would do on the first try, and then I would just keep going. It would be like 20 attempts before it like perfectly went in.
AK says Loris needs to stay in Westeros. Yeah. Keep him over in Westeros. Keep him out of these universes because he sucks. Let's listen to a couple more Jay's voicemails here quickly.
I think it's bullshit when Jessica Jones calls out people on addiction. Okay? Like, seriously, it was a little bit in the flashback scene when she's calling out Trish's addiction or whatever, or a little bit later when she's calling out Malcolm's addiction, talking about how he's a sex addicted. You're a guy that fucked a guy in a bar because he said you had a nice ass, and when you showed that scene, you said how you like to go from bed to bed to bed just to forget. You're a fucking sex addict too, and you're definitely an alcoholic. You don't get to call out other people on their shit when your shit is the same. All right, later.
What do you got to say about that, Joe? Anything to add to Jay's comment there, or you agree with him?
I mean, he's not wrong. He's not wrong.
She does show addictive, especially with the drinking. Especially with the drink. Like she's.
That's one of my big pet peeves about television, and they do it constantly. Like you have 20 episodes of fucking. I've said it before, of Law and Order or whatever, right? Or whatever, and you have like these. Each one of the cops throughout the season is going to have I'm going to go beat up this suspect in the interview room. And over the season, each one of the other cops tells the aggressor, stop, you're going to lose your shit. You can't do this. This isn't you. Get it together. All that shit. Right. But like 3 weeks before, it was them doing the same stupid shit. Yeah. And every season they have those episodes. They just pick like a different 4 cast members to do it with.
It's okay for
really
me.
Fucking annoying.
It's okay for me, but not for you. Let's play the last message from Jay. I think.
I'm trying to cover the phone line.
I think the only reason, and you guys have already said that you're okay with it, the only reason he didn't try to shoot is because I don't think he thought he was a good enough shot to like hit Jessica's mom and not hit Jessica and maybe kill Jessica, and he didn't want to do that.
Not Jessica, the cop. Right.
Yeah,
and that's why I said, Phil,
Costa.
there's a good chance I might shoot you and kill you, but know that it's because I'm trying to kill the person that's threatening to kill you.
And
because if I don't do it, he's gonna kill you. So one way or the other, Phil, you're either gonna die or not die, and the only way you don't die is if I possibly kill you. That's like, it's not great odds.
It's not great.
But
yeah,
it's better than me putting my fucking gun down. Which means you are dead.
It's worth trying. You know, it's worth doing it. It's worth taking the chance in that situation if death is the only other hope. We have another text message from area code 415. It says #fuck Trish. Okay, that's fair. Simple voicemail. And
simple and effective.
And AK, to answer your question, that's SM in the live motherfucking chat. That's SM down in the chat. That is in the voicemail. Let's go to a couple of comments that we had on the Jessica Jones videos. Penny Pincher says, which makes me think of Penny Pester from the movie Ladybugs, so that's a great fucking name, says Trish became what she hated most, her mother. And Jay says, I think that Kilgrave is the only person that is justifiable homicide. If Malcolm is sex, this is what he said about Jessica. Jessica was stupid. Trish gets to say more than anyone else. They need the last 2 Matrix movies were awesome, you idiots. I feel I added the idiots. I feel Jessica is annoying one. I can't believe Trish has kicked Jessica out of her life. Hogarth makes me feel like someone diagnosed with ALS and connected, but still doesn't deserve sympathy. Jessica doesn't teach Malcolm a damn thing. And let's continue on to a few more of these comments. And Trish is officially worse than Sansa Stark, says Booney Maz.
Agreed.
And this is also from Booney Maz. I finished it already.
Wait, what was that comment?
Trish is officially worse than Sansa Stark.
Yes, worse. Okay, yes.
Booney Mass says, I finished it already, so I can't wait to hear what you guys catch up on it. Someone mentioned the show Runaways earlier, which is surprisingly damn good, especially for Hulu. Phil, watch that. I think you'll like it. Joe gives the best hooker advice, says somebody. Joe definitely gives the best hooker advice. D says, this is a good topic for us. DC needs more Batman Beyond, says Ty Queen. I don't watch Marvel shit anymore, but I watch you guys. You guys are awesome. Duck says, just finished the season. Not going to spoil it, but it was amazing. Finally, they stopped repeating one of their mistakes with all these Marvel series. Ducks, I'd love to hear what that one mistake is now. Leave a comment in this video. Icy Fury, hey Phil, I wasn't able to make the chat today, but I did watch episode 1. Hope to make Saturday's chat. Awesome, Icy. Thank you. John Wayne, great as always. Really happy to see you guys reviewing Jessica Jones. Nothing against Star Trek Discovery, but it sucked. You guys going to review Altered Carbon. Joe, have you seen Altered Carbon yet? Okay. It's a Netflix series. Homework. Watch Altered Carbon so you can do a review of it.
Okay.
Bliss says, I really like the first episode, but I'm a fan of Jessica Jones series altogether, so it's not surprising. Anyways, this episode maintains my excitement. Hoping it maintains the whole season. So let's go into the live motherfucking chat a little bit, and then we're going to call this a live stream. Oh, we got one more voicemail. Let's see. I believe this is probably going to be from Tim. I think Tim said he was going to leave a message. So, or I think there's one more from Jay, but I want to give Tim a chance. Tim, if you're going to call in, now would be the time to leave a voicemail as we're going to start to wrap things up. I can see Joe getting ready to get him moving. But, here we go. We got Tim's message right here, Tim. Tim's got a rant for you, Joe.
All right, rant away.
Here we go. Here's Tim motherfucking Gersh in the live chat. And here you go, Tim. Show is yours, buddy.
Okay, first off, shut the fuck up, Bill. Or Joe, what else the case may be.
Shut the fuck up, both
wrong.
of you.
Yeah, seriously.
First of all, shut the fuck up, both of you. Okay, of course.
Yeah, her mom would have gone on a killing spree once the cops showed up. And Jessica, again, it's her mom. She would feel compelled to save her mom. So, yeah, probably it's even more cops. 50 cops die, then some more die. That poor old nighttime security guard doesn't get to come off the heels like being kids. All because of fucking they had to call the cops. Jessica had to do her Captain America there. Which, by the way, that's what Jessica is. And Trish is Iron Man. Not the...
So yeah, he's saying right on that one that Jessica is the Captain America of this group. I might say that Daredevil's the Captain America of the group, but I don't know.
whole Sokovia
You're muted, Joe, just so you know.
Chords thing,
Yep. Trish is what you said, Phil.
You think Daredevil is Captain America?
Is Daredevil, yep.
Danny, unfortunately, is Iron Man, I guess, because of the money.
All together.
And the training, Ra's al Ghul style training.
Trish is thinking with her head. And Jessica is thinking with her heart. God damn it. Yeah.
Tim says he was shaking with rage on this call. Let's listen more to Tim.
Trish had to kill her mom. She had no other choice. That was the right move in the situation. And sure,
So do you agree with Tim there that Trish had to kill mom? She didn't have any other choice?
No, not at all.
Okay.
That I don't agree with. She gets out of her hospital bed and travels 8 hours rather than just telling the cops.
Don't worry, Tim. We'll play the rest of the
Only
message.
Trish could sneak up on her and shoot her in the head out of nowhere? Like, that doesn't have... Like, that... Okay, only Trish can do it.
Again, they so season, they so shit on Trish because she is so trucking.
Shut the fuck up.
Well, okay, yeah, fair enough. But whatever, it's not like
Shut the fuck up,
she
Joe.
wasn't thinking, well, it was all going on. And of course, the pre-crave freeze. She was only thinking, I'm gonna get more drugs. But, yeah, the rest of the time. I mean, and seriously, going back to season 1, she was even thinking still. And, yeah. God, I'm so angry now. You know what? This is over. Shut the fuck up, Tim. Tim's gonna take an angry nap now.
So, Tim, I'm going to take that comment that you did, and I want to soundbite the I'm so angry thing to get it into the show. But, Tim, thank you so much for the message.
Thank you, Tim.
Fucking crazy. All right, Joe, I listened to that first bit again. Joe, don't you hate wishing long hair as much as me? Don't you hate washing long hair as much as me? Yes.
It's the rinsing that kills me.
Yes, I hate because I'm clumsy and getting food in it when if I don't think about it and I lean over food. Sometimes I'll get like my.
Or you go to eat something and
and you eat some of the hair. Yeah, it fucking sucks. So I wonder how chaotic it is for Joe to wash that fucking luscious hair. It is pretty fucking chaotic. But he smells good. I would say that about Joe. He's not a bad smelling hippie. He smells sunny, fresh most days.
And I don't even wear any deodorant, colognes.
None of stuff. No horrible patchouli. So I guess this is as good a time as any. We want to thank everyone that joined us for all these recaps. If you haven't checked out any of them, go back and watch the whole strip. Joe and I will also try to be coming out here a few times during the week at 1 p.m. just doing random stuff. Like, we're going to get desperate, bottom of the barrel topics when we stop coming up with like good stuff we have to talk about or we want to talk about. But we're going to try to do a couple days a week at 1 o'clock, do probably about an hour on those, hour and a half or something like that on podcasts.
When's BCS start?
The fucking September, dude.
When's the back half? Really?
Yeah.
When's the back half of Vikings start?
So around the same time.
Really?
Yeah, around like September, probably. They haven't
announced a whole other season.
They haven't announced. They haven't announced it yet, but I'd be surprised if Vikings comes back any sooner than August.
Wow, what the fuck? Did Hollywood decide to all vacation for like...
It's all Game of Thrones' fault for fucking up their order in season and being like, oh, if Game of Thrones could do it, everyone could do it. So we can put out shows whenever we want. I think from Vince Gilligan and all his team, he's basically, that was his reasoning. Well, if other people can take longer to do shit, I'm taking longer to do shit too. And so I think ultimately that's the reason with Better Call Saul, and they probably maybe had some scheduling conflicts and stuff too with getting certain actors. But we'll see. But yeah, we have a while, Joe, to wait for other shows. We have the end of the Walking Dead season. Westworld's coming in April, and I know you're not necessarily as into that as I am, so I don't know if you're into doing recaps for every episode of that, but I'll be doing recaps of that, and maybe Joe will join every few episodes for that, or after the season, after he binge watches the season. And Joe and I will be doing some Game of Thrones stuff coming up very soon. We're going to be doing character profiles of the characters that are left alive this season. As I've mentioned before, the first one we're doing was Cersei Lannister, so that will be coming very, very soon. We're also going to do some movie reviews and some random topic podcasts, like Joe talking about some of the shows, doing shorter reviews of some stuff he's watching that he thinks I should give a shot, and the other way around as well. Shows that maybe I'm watching that I think Joe should give a shot to that he hasn't given a shot to. So, and then maybe we'll watch them, come back the next week on that podcast and compare notes after watching a couple of episodes of the suggested shows, or at least one episode of the suggested show, and then with new suggestions. It'll be sort of like
at least we'll turn on the suggested show for a period of time.
Of course.
Undisclosed
period of time. We have full veto power of the show. That is perfectly. The reviews can be as short as 2 minutes. So we're going to be doing a lot more fun stuff at this 1 o'clock hour. So if you've been joining us for these 1 o'clock podcasts on weekdays or between 12 and 1, noon and 1, make sure you're still subscribed. We'll have a lot more stuff, and we'll also be talking about the next Netflix series. We got to talk about this off the air, whether it's Luke Cage or the next season of Daredevil or whatever. I think Joe and I are going to try to do an experiment next time where we binge watch the whole show in one day and do 20 to 30 minute reviews, 30 minutes or less reviews of each episode right after it happens. Like, Joe's going to come over for the day. We're going to watch an episode, come here, do a quick podcast, go watch another episode, come and do a quick podcast, back and forth. We're not going to do live watches because we want to actually watch it.
Right. So the Legion question, have I seen Legion? I saw a few episodes when it first started, season 1, and ultimately I decided that I didn't. It's a whole show that basically is exactly what I don't like about some episodes of seasons. It's like all fucking dreamy, in your head shit, like, and it's psychic shit, right?
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
And then like, it started raising questions to me after a few episodes. I'm going to be so fucking pissed if it's all a dream or if it's all just fucking this dude's just crazy or whatever. Like, I ended up stopping. I couldn't really connect to it too much, but I do have some good friends that, Opie, it's
I think
it's one of the best.
I think Broke feels that way as well. Mel said, looking forward to those Game of Thrones podcasts. I know it's been a while since we really got into Game of Thrones, and it's going to be fun to talk about Cersei and talk about basically what we're going to be going through is recapping her arc, like we do an episode, talking about every step of the way, talk about some of our highlight Cersei moments, read some quotes, maybe play some audio. We got Broke Blackman 94 that is going to be sending us a video message to talk about why she's his favorite character and just how she's leading into season 7. Not so much predictions and stuff or any spoilers or anything like that for anything we've learned. It's mainly going to just be recapping her story and talking about what makes her awesome or what makes her a shit character, if we were talking about a shit character or if one of us felt that way, as I think our second one we're talking about is Euron on the show. So I think our first two are Cersei, then Euron. I lost the rest of the order, but I do remember those two. So I know those two are the first two, and then we'll see how it goes from there. Also, talk to a couple of other Game of Thrones YouTube people that might be sharing some video messages for certain characters. I have a really fun one set up for the Jon Snow episode when we finally get to that one. Have a really cool video or audio clip that's going to be played for that, and hopefully we'll be able to get some other folks as well. So yeah. So that's probably what's coming up relatively soon. And Joe, thanks so much for joining me and holding off your binging of this series a little bit to do this silly experiment with me.
No, it's actually worked out really well.
Oh, Jay says he has one last message, and why not? I'll play Jay's last message.
Hey, before you guys go, prediction for next season. If any relationships are saved, do you think it'll be Jessica and Trish, Jessica and Malcolm, Trish and Jessica, or Trish and Malcolm. All right, later.
Huh? I think he says if any relationships are repaired next season, who will it be? Will it be Trish? Will it be any of the combinations of these characters will actually repair their relationships? I say
I hope not.
But I say Jessica and Malcolm come to some sort of understanding eventually.
Well, I think there'll be understandings between all of them, but none of them will ever be
as close.
Yeah, hanging out again.
I tend to.
Wait, they were not. None of them were friends to begin with.
Well, Trish,
like Jessica and Trish, sisters, not friends. Very definitely not friends. Jess and Malcolm, not friends. You annoy me and you keep coming to my house and trying to do shit for me. You're fired, you're fired, you're fired. Fuck you, I quit. Okay, great. Now he's just my neighbor again, which is all he ever fucking was. Like, none of them are friends with each other. None of them have more than, like, almost acquaintance-like fucking...
Sean says, which, I mean, I see what you're saying, Joe. I do think Jessica and Malcolm will get back to very similar, working together in a professional environment again.
None of them ever called the other one and said, let's go get a drink.
Well, Jessica says you can come meet me for a drink
no, Jessica says leave me alone. I'm going to a bar
because whenever they call her, she's at a bar. Sean says which episode of Game of Thrones is the best fapping material? I would say watch the early seasons of Game of Thrones when the sex position is a little bit more prevalent in some of the Littlefinger giving speeches while shit's going on in the background scenes. I say if you're looking for, and I think that's season 1 when we were like first introduced to Littlefinger's whorehouse.
2. When they go back to the whorehouse.
Oh, and Roz is there and they're training
Roz
her and
gets
stuff.
There and she's getting trained to be like the.
I think if you're really looking for that, that's probably the section you're looking for. Jessica looks at Malcolm like her little brother. He would be the same age. I think at some point Jessica did look at her like that. Broke. I think about that. Broke says Trishan relationship will take a long fucking time. You going out for St. Pat's? Joe, are you going out tonight for St. Patrick's Day or Saturday night for St. Patrick's Day? Oh no, you have to work Saturday night.
I'm going to work.
Yeah.
No, dude, I don't need a St. Patrick's Day to go fucking get drunk.
Right. Joe will be getting drunk for St. Patrick's Day a week from this Sunday for the Walking Dead. When he's back for the Walking Dead podcast.
I gotta make up for all my spins.
Yeah, he has a couple of spins in the wheel, spins in the tank. Don't move Malcolm, even though you make a shit ton now. Yeah, I don't think he's gonna move too. I think he's gonna stay there as well. As a rule,
right, so he can break into Jessica's apartment and steal shit from her and spy on her.
And Tim has probably the line of the day. Listen, as a rule, if you kill my mom, I kind of hate you forever. So,
yeah, right.
So as usual, Tim wraps things up perfectly. So I also want to say, if anyone's listening to our audio podcast, thank you so much for checking out all these. I definitely see that there's some people that have been watching the audio, and if you are and you want to, sorry, I think my mouse just ran out of batteries. My mouse ran out of batteries, Joe. And but if you haven't, definitely join the YouTube channel.
Be live forever, Phil.
I can't scroll to the stop. I'm stuck in some sort of Groundhog Day like loop where we have to do the same. How awful would that be, Joe?
It would be awful because I need a sandwich.
But I'm saying, besides that, if we were stuck in having to watch like one episode, like the worst episode of The Walking Dead, over and over again in a loop for hundreds and hundreds of years, and we couldn't watch anything else.
Dude, it's a Key and Peele. Like, I'm going to party till the party don't stop because I party on Monday and to Sunday. Like that party song. Fucking no, can't get out of the party. Can't stop watching this awful Dead episode.
That's people's reaction watching to our podcast, Joe. I can't stop watching this shitty podcast. No, everyone, thank you so much. Really do appreciate all you guys checking us out this week and checking us out all through this Jessica Jones watch. The ones that watched with us, the ones that left comments and questions and all that sort of stuff. You guys are amazing. We really do appreciate all of that. As Lynetta said, Phil, no, Stephen Amell is Arrow, not Iron Fist. Let Loris go somewhere else. Don't do that to Arrow. I said I was kidding. I just want Stephen Amell to play Iron Fist. I don't care what they do with Arrow. Just get Loris out of the part to make the character interesting. But everyone, yes, if you haven't already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Thank you to all of you guys in the live motherfucking chat. You guys are amazing. You could just turn off the TV. Yes, we could. But we like... We like to torture each other. We like the nasty things to happen. We like to feel dirty when we watch television sometimes. It makes us feel good. Oh no, I'm trying to scroll. This is trying to be in time to be able to shut off this stream. If the music ends, will I make it? Will I make it? I'm making it. Talk to everyone next time. I'll be back this Sunday evening, 10:30, to recap this episode of The Walking Dead with The Walking David, who will be joining me. And also maybe back soon for some video game streaming on Dirty Issues. Talk to you guys very, very soon. Thank you for all the support, all the patrons. Really do appreciate it every month. Patron cast is coming. If you have special questions or comments, get them into me, any of the patrons out there. Love you guys. Talk to you soon.